Tonight on the Superstation, two teams with tremendous tradition go head-to-head. Nebraska and Texas A&M. But tradition doesn't win ball games. Players do. And this is their moment to continue a proud tradition. When you talk about tradition and great atmosphere, there's none better than Kyle Field in College Station, Texas. Over 80,000 have braved the elements to see their beloved Aggies, including former President George Bush. And we welcome you to Big Play Saturday, presented by Discover Card and T-Mobile. Well, it could be a day of reckoning for one of these two teams with outside hopes of a Big 12 title. Two conference powers collide with Texas A&M hosting Nebraska. Hello again, everybody. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Ron Thulin. It wasn't too long ago that Texas A&M was 106th in offense in the NCAA. Coach R.C. Slocum made some changes. Things have clicked since then. They're now up to 38th, but there are still questions. Can they do it against a good defensive team like Nebraska?
Well, they have had some confidence builders along the way, haven't they? They've won their last 4 ball games with Kevin Sumlin as the new offensive coordinator calling the plays. And one of the last things R.C. Slocum told him before his first game was be bold. Call what you see. And it's worked awfully well for the Texas A&M Aggies. The first 3 ball games of the year, scoring was down, total yardage was down, only 16 points per ball game. But since Kevin Sumlin has assumed play calling duties, almost 42 points per ball game, passing yardage way up. Dustin Long, their new quarterback, is setting records every week, and you've got to like what Texas A&M has done. Tonight we'll find out just how good they are.
Well, they are clicking on offense. Not the case on the other side of the football, because Nebraska has lost 3 straight on the road this year, 5 straight on the road dating back to last year. Now, Charles, they've had to reevaluate everything, including their defense. They're still physical on defense, but they're really not playing Nebraska football.
No, and black shirts around the country are very restless because they received a lot of criticism from former players who are playing in the NFL and guys who played well in Nebraska defenses from before. They're counting on a couple of guys now to lead them. Guys like DeJuan Gross, their starting corner and one of the best kick returners in the country, and Scott Shanley, a former walk-on who's now their leading tackler. The black shirts are still out there in existence, but tonight they have to prove just how good they are against a Texas A&M offense that is totally retooled.
Well, this isn't the greatest of nights for football. Weather will be a factor. It's drizzling, expected to stay that way throughout the game. Does that give anybody an advantage?
Well, ordinarily the offenses would say they have the advantage because they know where they're going to run and cut and throw the football. But Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator from Texas A&M, he likes it wet because he thinks it'll slow down Nebraska's option attack, and he thinks that with his 3-4 defense, his linebackers and secondary can get to the ball anytime they want to. Frank Solich says the weather won't bother us, but he will be cognizant of it in his play calling. Maybe they won't pitch it around so much. Tonight, Nebraska must take care of the football, while Texas A&M, their offense has to prove that they're as good as they've been the last 4 weeks.
Now, it's anybody's ball game tonight, but in the history of these two teams, Nebraska has won 5 of the last 7 games, but the last time they played here in College Station, A&M upset Nebraska. Nebraska was number 2 at the time, 28-27. But 80,000 have come, and they are ready to sing and chant for their Aggies. Kickoff straight ahead. That's pretty bizarre, isn't it? And we welcome you inside of Kyle Field, Aggie Land, College Station, Texas. Better than 80,000 have come to see the Texas A&M Aggies take on the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. But we've talked about tradition here at Texas A&M, and it really starts on Friday night. With more on that, here's the third member of our broadcast team, Aaron Andrews. Aaron?
That's right, Ron. Tradition is like no other here at Texas A&M, and I got a big taste of it last night at midnight yell practice. It's a huge tradition since about 1932 to head to Kyle Field on a Friday night right before a home football game. It draws around 30,000 people ranging from students to grandmothers. Now you get to practice your yells, sing songs, and even be entertained by the yellators. I was even surprised to see our very own Craig Sager there, and he and I were definitely amazed by the turnout. Craig, you and I definitely tried to participate in that tradition, didn't we?
Yeah, I was over the Dixie Chicken soaking up some capizology when some Fish Jones whipped out, dropped handle, and gave me the CQ to bust butt to the midnight yell session. I thought it was bad bull, but the next thing you know, I'm doing the elephant walk, marching into a stadium full of Aggies. It was quadding, everybody was whooping, I was wildcatting, and Aaron was humping it. That's the best way I can describe the spirit of camaraderie of life at Texas A&M. And Ron Charles, if you weren't there, you're just 2%ers.
Anybody that has any clue what he just said, please mail it to us, would you?
That is outstanding.
Excellent job, Aaron and Craig. We like that. Texas A&M won the toss, and they deferred, as most great defensive teams will do if they do win the toss. You can see the temperature, 63 degrees, and it is damp. And we are underway. Nothing going on. Josh Davis is going to hold it right there, and Nebraska will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. This Nebraska offense has averaged 30 or more points 24 straight years. This year, though, they're only averaging 28. Their quarterback is Jamal Lord. I'll tell you what, Charles, he's got the talent. He just hasn't had the consistency this year.
And remember, this is a young man who threw about 4 passes per ball game in high school. So throwing the football has never been his forte, and this is his first year as a starter.
Darren Diedrich, Judd Davis in the I formation behind Jamal Lord. 1st and 10 from their own 20. First play, Lord keeps it, barrels his way up over the 25 to the 27, maybe 28-yard line. As he was following behind the big offensive line, let's take a look at the rest of the offense. I'll tell you, the tailback spot is going to be interesting. Diedrich gets the start, but keep an eye on David Horn, the young freshman. At the wide receiver spot, Wilson Thomas has not had a reception the last couple of games. The line, John Garrison. He is the co-captain of this team at the center pot, and Richie Incognito, the redshirt freshman, also anchoring that line. Lord keeping, dropping back to the 22-yard line. Gerard Penwright, the senior from Aldine, Texas, with his first stop of the night.
That's going to be his 13th tackle for a loss this season. Gerard Penwright knows how to get into the backfield, loves to play upfield, plays forward, doesn't like to retreat. Drops Jamal Lord on a big 2nd down, making it 3rd and 6 for the Cornhuskers.
Nebraska on 3rd down this year, about 41%. Horn now in the backfield. 4 wide receivers set. Lord keeps it. Up to the 30, 1st down, still on his feet to the 35-yard line. That's what makes Jamal Lord so dangerous. The option is really set up for him to run first, obviously, but he's got some talent. Let's take a look at that wrecking crew defense of Texas A&M. They're tied for 6th in turnover margin. And on the line, the question is, Ty Warren, how much will he play? Marcus Jasmine is the nose tackle. Linebacker Brian Gamble, the emotional leader. And in the secondary, the candy man, Sammy Davis, all first-team Big 12 last year. 1st and 10 for the Huskers from the 36-yard line. Lord from the shotgun, keeps it. Steps out of bounds at about the 39.5-yard line. Jackson Appel with the stop, running him out of bounds. Appel is a strong player coming up from that free safety spot. A lot of pressure on him today.
Almost a single wing play, faking the ball inside out of the shotgun formation. Jamal Lord taking upon himself to carry the football the first few plays of this game from a variety of different sets.
Pitch back to Diedrich. Tries the right side, gets up to the 40-yard line, maybe picked up a yard on the play. David Ross, the redshirt freshman out of Forney, Texas, coming from that left end spot. Ty Warren not in the lineup right now. And if Ty Warren cannot play, this Texas A&M defense has some problems. They don't have a lot of depth on the defensive line.
And Ty Warren is one of the guys who's played awfully well thus far this season across the country, is one of the best defensive linemen in the nation. Has a bad shoulder, hasn't practiced all week.
3rd down and 7. Lord with his first pass, looking for a little slip screen. Gets it to Wilson Thomas. Crosses the 45, and he should be close to the 1st down. Probably has it. Brian Gamble, the senior out of Alto, Texas, on the stop.
And what I like about this call is it's the first pass of the game for Jamal Lord, but keep an eye on Wilson Thomas, the wide receiver, because he's going to come and slip screen right in here. Ball easy throw and back to the inside. Thus, it's an easy pass to a big target. Watch Wilson Thomas right there. Coming right inside, 6 feet 6 inches tall. Big target for him to throw to, an easy pass, a confidence builder all the way around for the Nebraska offense.
But it has been set up by the successful running. Lord already 4 rushes, 20 yards in the ball game. 1st and 10 for the Huskers. Lord looking to keep it. Cuts back, gets some running room. Goodbye. To the 20, to the 15, down to the 12-yard line. Sammy Davis has to make the game-saving stop. Lord just exploded.
And the thing about option football is that for a defense is that it is as taxing mentally as it is physically, because there were a couple of missed tackles where they had Jamal Lord in the backfield, but once he missed, a lot of room for him to run.
Diedrich fighting his way, going for the goal line, touchdown Nebraska! That was vintage Nebraska. You run it, you run it, you run it.
And then when you're done doing that, you run it some more.
Run it some more.
And Darren Diedrich ran with the force of a guy who wants to solidify his standing on the team. He's now code #1 I-back, and he pounds it inside as the kick is made. But boy, what a strong, aggressive run by Diedrich.
Brown's kick is good. He remains perfect on the year, 30 out of 30. Darren Diedrich with the touchdown, his 4th rushing 6-pointer of the year. Darren Diedrich gives Nebraska on their opening drive a 7-0 lead. And they did it with old-fashioned Nebraska football, power running. Josh Brown set to kick it away. A swimming kick. Taken at the 1 by Bethel Johnson. Looking for some running room. Finds the seam up to the 20 to the 23-yard line. Josh Brown coming up to make the stop. Oh, we saw that great run by Jamal Lord, but have to give kudos to John Clem. He detonates Jackson Appel.
Watch in the middle. Jackson Appel will come from here to try and make the play. Watch Clem right here in the block. Boom. Excellent job. Ron Brown, the wide receivers coach for Nebraska, that will warm his heart, because he tells his receivers all the time, for us to be successful in the run game, we have to block strong on the perimeter. And one of the first knockdowns of the game for the wide receivers of Nebraska.
And the wide receivers in Nebraska are some of the best in the conference. Farmer keeps it on the ground, able to get maybe back to the line of scrimmage as we take a look at that Texas A&M offense. Their quarterback, Dustin Long, making just his 6th start, the sophomore from Port Neches, Texas. Began the year, though, as the 3rd-string quarterback. He has had an amazing rise.
And he certainly was not the people's choice to come in and replace Mark Ferris at the quarterback position. You have a freshman, Reggie McNeil, who was the people's choice. But Dustin Long, his best attribute, as offensive coordinator Kevin Sumlin says, he's very even, very steady along the way. And he's putting up record numbers in the last couple of weeks.
It's 2nd and 8 now for the Aggies. Long changing the play at the line of scrimmage. His first pass, tip, incomplete, almost intercepted. Trevor Johnson from that right defensive end spot, the junior out of Lincoln, Nebraska, comes up with the tip pass. Take a look at the rest of the A&M offense. Derek Farmer, just a sophomore, 100 games running the football this year. Wide receivers, keep an eye on Jamar Taylor and Bethel Johnson. They are 2 of the best. And on the line, the centers and guards. Right guard Taylor Whitley, 32nd start, and Andre Brooks is the vocal leader at the tackle spot.
Great play by Trevor Johnson on the last one, number 88, getting his hands up in the passing lane. 3 wide receivers to the wide side of the field for A&M.
This is where A&M's been good since the offensive change on 3rd down. Long is hit as he throws it. First down up to the 40-yard line. Jamar Taylor showing a little swagger. Pickup of 16 on the play.
To the wide side of the field, what they did is they ran 2 receivers down inside to make Nebraska respect that. That let Jamar Taylor just kind of drift to the sideline, wide open, plenty of space. And then he gets excellent yardage getting upfield after the catch.
And the head coach, R.C. Slocum, his 30th year overall here at Texas A&M, 14th as the head coach. Only missed a year when he was with John Robinson at USC back in 1981, the winningest coach in A&M history. Long rolling out, off-balance pass, and it's a dangerous one. Tipped by Demario Williams, the junior from Beckville, Texas. And the rest of that Nebraska defense, only 6th in the Big 12, and on the line, Chris Kelsey is not playing, and that puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the line. Scott Shanley, the strong side linebacker, and in the secondary, keep an eye on DeJuan Gross. At that cornerback spot, he is Mr. Everything.
Yeah, and keep an eye on him in every facet of the game. Kick returns and also covering punts. He's one of their bullets or gunners on the punt coverage routine. He hardly ever comes off the field on defensive possessions.
2nd down and 10. Joseph and Farmer in the I formation. Here comes the blitz by Nebraska. Farmer, left side, gets up to the 45-yard line. Mario Williams and Philip Bland coming up to make the stop. Just a reminder, fans, this telecast is available with Spanish translation via the SAP button on your remote control. Well, one thing that Texas A&M wanted to do is they needed to establish the run. They've tried to be a little more balanced. They've spread out the field a little bit more, but it all comes down to that young man, Dustin Long.
And Kevin Sumlin circled there. The offensive coordinator was the wide receivers coach before assuming these extra duties. He wants to see the ball run and run effectively tonight.
Murphy, Johnson, and Taylor split out, incomplete, intended for Terrence Murphy. Good defensive play by Fabian Washington, the true freshman out of Bradenton, Florida. And Texas A&M is going to be forced to kick it away to one of the most dangerous return men in all of college football. He is #1 in the NCAA. Has already returned 3 punts for a touchdown this year. Already is. I tell you, he's put his name in the Nebraska record books, taking it away from a pretty good guy.
Yeah, when you put your name next to Johnny Rodgers, you're pretty good.
Well, they don't kick away from him. They kick to him. Gross up to the 40-yard line. 35 yards on the kick. Gets a lot of it back. And Nebraska with excellent field position. Timeout on the field, 9:49 to play in the first. The Huskers trying to keep their season alive. Fans, you can vote for tonight's U.S. Army Players of the Game, powered by America Online. All you have to do is log on to tbssuperstation.com or AOL keyword Big Play and cast your vote. One thing I think Texas A&M had to worry about, it is tough to scout a team that runs the option like Frank Solich does. You can't find the players to simulate that at times.
Can't simulate it, and when you're playing assignment football, it usually means you're a step behind because you're thinking rather than reacting and playing.
From the eye, Lord keeps it again, scoots up towards the 44-yard line. And one of the problems Nebraska has had, they've really had problems on a consistent run game, especially inside. And tonight, already we're seeing a little more consistency we've seen the first couple of games.
But what we're seeing is the offensive line coming off the football and creating holes and creases for Jamal Lord and Darren Diedrich to find gaps to run through.
Pick up a 3 on the play. Pitches. Javen Horn, the freshman, the true freshman, run out of bounds. That is a little bit of the speed that Frank Solich had hoped to find in his backfield. He's run out at about the 43-yard line, a 14-yard pickup for the freshman from Omaha, Nebraska.
And look at what they came out with. Stack eye. They have 3 guys back here. Now watch number 4, Davies, leading here, getting the key block on the corner on the option. Fake it inside. Then they bring it down. Watch Davies, number 4, out front. Excellent cut block. That allows Horn room to run.
They run the stack eye again, this time with Diedrich. He gets up to the 40-yard line, a pickup of 3. So nothing fancy about Nebraska so far tonight.
No, but I like the formation that Frank Solich came out with 3 backs in the backfield, utilizing 1 inside, meaning you have to respect the dive, and if you don't, they'll hand it off inside. Then Judd Davies getting to the outside, opening things up for the tailback.
Now from the I formation, it's Horn and Davies. Ward with Davies trailing. Pitches to Davies. Horn, up to the 30 to the 27-yard line. One of the things that David Horn gives you is a lot of speed. Now, he had to take off his red shirt. They wanted to red shirt the young man, but it was a good move. He had 125 of that 294 against Oklahoma State last week. Picked up 12 on that play.
And one of the other things we learned is that he's a disciplined freshman. He stayed with his assignment. When he didn't get the ball initially off the pitch, he continued downfield. It came to him a couple of counts later.
Again, they stack the eye. This time they break it. Straight ahead running. Or I should say faked it. Never saw it. and it's an incomplete pass. Somebody blew his shoe out there, intended for John Clem.
Second down.
That'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. There's something falling down there.
Somebody threw something right there.
Yeah. Is that somebody's sock?
That's not part of the black shirts because they're not out on the field right now. Maybe one of the wrecking crew dropped that one. A lot of great nicknames tonight, huh?
That's it. 2nd down and 10. Second man through. Horn takes a hit right upside the head by Brian Gamble. That'll wake up the freshman. Brian Gamble, the senior, emotional leader on the Butkus watch list.
And what a nice tackle by Brian Gamble. Great way to try and wake up the rest of the wrecking crew defense. But watch in the middle. Number 19, Clem, going for the ball. You see who held him up? Number 17, Gamble. He's a very smart inside linebacker.
Nebraska 2 and 2 on 3rd down. Lord going deep into the flat. Almost picked off. Sammy Davis was on the coverage of Wilson Thomas. Not a good pass.
That's exactly what Mike Hankwitz wants with his wrecking crew defense. Take away the run. Force him to throw the football. He's a lot more effective when he's throwing the ball off of a good run fake and in a non-passing down. When you're coaching Jamal Lord to beat you throwing the football time and again, you have to like your odds if you're A&M.
This will be a 45-yard attempt by Josh Brown. His longest is 44. Good snap, good hold, and it sails to the left. Well, he had the leg, just didn't have the accuracy.
What a great series on defense for the wrecking crew. As we see Josh Brown, he's been getting some help. Went to a kicking camp this summer, just missing it to the left side. And also Nick Lowry, the former All-Pro kicker of the Kansas City Chiefs, spent some time on campus on another assignment, made contact with the Nebraska Athletic Department, spent some time with Josh Brown. Might need to call Nick back, see if he can help him out a little bit more.
Well, the wind is tricky down there. There is a wind blowing right to left at the top of the stadium. On the field, doesn't look like that much. Texas A&M trying to get something going on the ground. Derek Farmer may have picked up a yard or two on the play. This Texas A&M offense, though, I tell you, they have really kicked it in the last 4 games. We saw at the top of the show just how good they've gotten, mainly because of that man. And one thing Coach Sumlin has done, he not only wanted to use all the players, he wanted to use, as you were talking about, the entire field, and he's done that.
Yeah, and when we talk about using the entire field, means not just running the ball inside or running it to one area. Spreading the field with more formations, utilizing more players in passing and running situations, make everyone feel a part of it. It's been very effective for them.
2nd down and 8, long from the shotgun, keeps it straight up ahead. Up to the 40, looking for a block to the 45, to the 49-yard line. Well, he passed for a school record 399 yards last week against Kansas, puts on the running shoes this time.
And he just made your point about utilizing more of the field, because what they did was spread the field to the wide side, 3 wide receivers, a running back moved to that side of the field, and then he ran the quarterback draw back to the short side. Have flow going one way, come back to the opposite side.
That ties his longest run of the year at 20 yards. They say he's 6'2", but Dustin looked a lot bigger than that to us. Little play action. Has a man open. Caught. Jamar Taylor, the circus catch. 23 yards on the pickup, the junior out of Mission, Texas.
And this is a very tough throw because Dustin Long is a right-handed thrower, so he has to get his body turned and square. Great route by Jamar Taylor. Low post corner, running against the true freshman Fabian Washington, who had a tough weekend last weekend against Rashawn Woods of Oklahoma State. Excellent route, excellent throw.
Well, the coaches were concerned that they would throw against the young freshman.
Well, if you're going to, who would you go against, him or DeLon Gross?
Yeah, you don't have a choice there. This time, the Nebraska defense is up to the challenge. John Clanton coming up with the first tip. Well, last week, the EA Sports pre-play predicted Texas A&M would win in a very close matchup in our fan poll. 54% of the fans voted for Texas A&M to win big, and so far this year, EA Sports has a record of 2-3, and the fans also have a record of 2-3. Stay tuned to see who's correct this week. Fans are getting better.
You knew they would.
They had an offer going a couple of weeks ago, didn't they?
You knew they would. You see Frank Solich on the sidelines watching his black shirt defense, which started out so impressively on the first drive by A&M. Big play by Clanton, 2nd and long for A&M.
Loss of 6 on the play, and Long forced to go back to the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. Long steps up in the pocket and takes a hit. Well, they laid the wood to him right at the line of scrimmage. This time, Philip Bland coming up from that free safety spot. The sophomore from Lafayette, Colorado.
It's a young man who's not afraid to strike you. Will come from all over the field to do so. Played a key role last year as a true freshman, and is just getting better each and every week in his sophomore season.
Well, one of the things this Nebraska defense must do tonight, have stops just like this on 3rd down and long, and also somehow try to force a turnover, which they haven't done in the last couple of games.
Yeah, only 1 turnover forced in their last 12 quarters of play.
Comes the blitz again. Long reads it. Dumps it over the middle. Complete to Johnson. Johnson gets inside the 25-yard line down to the 24. Will be well short of the first down. Johnson with his first catch of the evening, his 21st of the year.
Watch him just coming down underneath a shallow cross route. You know what the key was to this play? Right there. It was a missed tackle, but it forced Bethel Johnson to continue to run laterally as opposed to getting upfield. And once he had to run laterally so far, he had no chance of making the first down. Good job by the black shirt defense of Nebraska.
Well, Todd Pegram will try the foot. They spot it at the 31-yard line. It'll be a 41-yarder from the right hash mark. Not going to hook. So the Nebraska defense holds. R.C. Slocum doesn't like it. And we are going to stay at 7-0. 3:59 to play in quarter number 1. Both teams have had their chances, but the Huskers have the advantage.
I think it's totally unfair to their coaching staff and to their players for some of the comments that have been made. Frank Solich is a heck of a coach. He's proven that. He's got a phenomenal record. And when you watch the tapes, I still see the same Nebraska that I've seen for many years. They're a big, physical team. Their schemes are well designed, and they're a good, well-coached football team.
And they're ahead 7-0. That's
right.
not just lip service that R.C. Slocum was paying to Nebraska.
Straight ahead running this time. Texas A&M up to the challenge. We have a penalty flag on the play. Here's Craig Sager.
With 3 losses already in the year, some say that Nebraska is in uncharted waters, lost at sea and without a compass. Before the game today, Frank Solich had the team psychologist, Dr. Jack Stark, address the team. He talked positively. He said positive reinforcement is the presentation of an event that strengthens or increases the likelihood of a behavior. That event he presented, the Big 12 championship from 1997, when Nebraska defeated A&M 54-15. He showed plays, highlights, and had interviews from those team members of the championship team of 97. He said those are great players, a great team. You guys are great players. This is a great team. Go out and play like Nebraska. Right?
Charles, Craig, I agree. You know, Frank Solich is a good football coach, and he has stayed even keel. He's taking a lot of criticism in Nebraska by their fans. Craig Bohl's taken a lot of criticism. But when you look at the tape, outside of the Penn State game, which was a snowball effect, they're not that far off.
Now, this is a team with a compass. The compass is Frank Solich.
Darren Diedrich joining Lord in the backfield. Lord keeps it, skips his way over the 15 up to the 16-yard line. Jared Morris, the junior from Brownwood, Texas, coming up to make the stop.
I think that the wrecking crew defense of A&M has received a wake-up call. The wake-up call was the first drive of Nebraska and part of the second drive until a big hit by inside linebacker Brian Gamble on Darren Diedrich, or David Horn, excuse me. That seemed to wake this team up.
David Horn in the backfield. Warren looking for a little slip screen. He gets it. Wilson Thomas still on his feet. Gets up to the 25-yard line, which is just past the original line of scrimmage. Linus Smith, the junior from Tyler, Texas, on the stop. They'll set up a 3rd down and about 8.
Perfect situation if you're Mike Hankwitz, because this is where you get to turn the wrecking crew loose. You feel good about your coverage on the corners with Sean Weston, number 31, and Sammy Davis, number 22. You bring in your nickel package with Byron Jones, number 11, and maybe you come after Jamal Lord.
Well, they've got 4 wide receivers. Lord from the shotgun, 4-man rush, scrambling, looking, throwing, almost picked off. Off the hands of Terrence Keel, the senior out of Lufkin, Texas, and A&M's wrecking crew defense stands up to the challenge.
That's precisely why Mike Hankwitz feels good. It's a definite pass situation, which is not good for Jamal Lord. Although he's a running quarterback, throwing on the run is not going to be a strength of his, because throwing is not his comfort zone. His comfort zone is running the football. That pass had no chance of being caught by anybody from Nebraska.
Kyle Larson standing on his 10-yard line, set to kick it away. A&M moving it along on the line of scrimmage. They bring 8. Look out, it's blocked. Picked up at the 10, 5, touchdown A&M. Thomas with the touchdown, courtesy of Bryce Reed on the block. And they came right up the middle. That's been Nebraska's problem. They play good football, then they have one mistake like this, which costs them. The extra point. Todd Pegram splits the uprights. Thomas with the touchdown, and we are tied. Look at it again.
Watch coming from this side, there, right there. There's your block man, Bryce Reed. And he went to the perfect spot, the spot that the kicker would kick the football. Didn't run into him. Easy play. Terrence Thomas not going to get an easier touchdown. Perfect spot. You got to go to where the kicker's going to kick it, and you do that through your scouting. Find out whether he's a one-step kicker or a two-step kicker, and you practice coming across his body at the kick point. Terrence Thomas knows that once the ball's blocked, scoop it and try and score. Because even if you don't recover the football, Nebraska does, it's going to be your ball, because they would not have made the yardage to make the first down. So you try and score first, as opposed to just going and diving on the football. Well-taught, well-coached team on special teams is A&M.
Well, John Clem could only watch as his team is tied up at 7. I think you hit it on the head a moment ago, that the hit by Gamble really had a wake-up call to the wrecking crew defense.
I wonder if they bought into the hype a little bit, and Nebraska's not as good as they've been in the past. I know R.C. Slocum's talked to them about it, but kids are kids. They read, they listen, they hear, and sometimes they buy into it, and then they found out that Nebraska's still pretty potent on that first drive. And Brian Gamble brought his team back with a big hit on the tailback.
Cody Skates, who's normally the punter, will set to kick it away. Tied at 7 on a misty night in College Station. Josh Davis about a yard deep. Takes a hit at the 13-yard line, falls to the 16. Let's go to the big game house in Ernie Johnson, EJ.
Around the story in Austin, Texas today, as the Longhorns beat Iowa State, was Cedric Benson, who rushed for 199 yards, a couple of touchdowns. This from 59 yards away. Earlier this season, he went for 208 against North Carolina, been bothered by a turf toe. He looked pretty good today. Texas goes to 7-1, 21-10 over Iowa State. Ron, Charles?
I'll tell you, in Texas and Texas A&M are going to hook it up Thanksgiving weekend, and that's what everybody here likes pointing to.
It'd be a heck of a game. How can you get 199? They got to find another yard for him somewhere.
Lord looking for somebody. Pass complete up to the 30-yard line. Complete to Wilson Thomas. Thomas already with 3 receptions. We mentioned at the top of the show, he went 2 games, the last 2 without catching a football.
And I'm going to say something here that's going to sound a little bit crazy. You ready? They got a first down on the pass, and it's almost a failure on that play. Why? Because in the option attack, you want to get downfield deeper, because you expect to get bigger plays out of your pass game.
Lord pitches, dangerous, wrecking crew all over it. Back to the 21-yard line, and it's Terrence Keel coming up from that strong safety spot. Now we want to apologize. Our Home Depot 1st and 10 line, the mist and the rain and the dew and the humidity and the yuck. That's the only way to put it. Got the better of it. We hope to have it up here in a little bit.
It's a cool and blustery day in the Thousand Acre Wood, except we're in Aggie land, aren't we?
What was your major? That was good. Now sets up a second down.
Young kids.
Yeah, second down and 17.
Now this is where the crowd gets involved. All the guys trying to hear the audibles.
They didn't handle the crowd well at times at Penn State. Lord, the pitch, bad. Fumble, still loose. A&M has it at the 5. Gerard Penwright comes up with the pigskin, and Texas A&M is knocking on the door.
Frank Solich did not want to make a big deal about the wet conditions with his team. He thought it might be a self-fulfilling prophecy, but he also told us that he might have to alter play calling a little bit so the ball's not in the air very much. That's the reason why Darren Diedrich did not focus and catch the football, because the pitch appeared to me to be right on target. He should have caught it.
A&M 19 consecutive red zone scores. Trying to make it 20. They keep it on the ground, but the Nebraska defense is there, back to the 10-yard line. Loss of 4 on the play. Justin Smith made the stop on Farmer. Part of the problem for Nebraska, usually very positive as far as the turnover story. Not the case this year, but A&M has been very effective in that category.
And that's a category that all coaches will examine before they play another team. R.C. Slocum saw that with Nebraska, put in a special punt block situation to help try and turn the ball over a little bit more. It worked for him. Advantage Texas A&M. Now they picked up their second one with the fumble. They're trying to punch it in.
Joe Weber and Farmer behind. Dustin Long. Long play action into the flat. Pater straight ahead. Touchdown Weber. The only non-Texan in the 2-deep roster, Joe Weber of San Bernardino, California, his first receiving touchdown of the year.
Watch him coming right out here, and watch where the ball is. Perfectly thrown ball, because it's right in a spot where Joe Weber can catch it and turn upfield and run. Beautiful throw by Dustin Long, rewarded with a touchdown by Joe Weber.
Pegram for the extra point. And it is good. So A&M falls behind 7-0, and as is the tradition, after the score, you get a little smooch.
No wonder these guys love Kevin Sumlin so much. With scoring going up to 42 points per ball game, everybody's getting a kiss in Aggie land. Beautiful throw by Dustin Long. Easy throw because Joe Weber's wide open coming out of the backfield. The Aggies are up 7 here in College Station.
Well, you look at Dustin Long's completion percentage, not that good, but then you look at the rest of his numbers, outstanding. That's his 14th touchdown pass. Well, fans, do you have a question for us? Simply send an email and we'll select one question to answer later in the ball game. All you have to do is send your question to tbsbigplay@aol.com, and please include your name and, of course, where you are from. We haven't had Aaron answer one yet, though.
No, but she stumped us a while ago when we were working on a little practice game.
Yeah.
And she stumped us. A lot of the people at home didn't get to hear that, and we're trying to keep that tape hidden. But she nailed us on that one, so it's about time she could handle one.
There you see Dustin Long, just a sophomore, wanted to go to either UT or A&M. Kind of fell out of the picture at UT. A&M didn't show a whole lot of interest for a while. Almost went to Mississippi State. Davis, 2 yards deep. Crosses the 20 up to the 23-yard line. I would have to think, even though we only have 10 seconds left in the quarter, this is a big series for the Nebraska offense. Their first series, they pounded the ball, played classic Nebraska football. They need to answer this challenge right now, or this could get ugly quickly.
Because now we're talking about the word confidence, something that many people have said that Nebraska has been lacking in recent weeks. And when things go against them, they start to lose a little bit. You're right. Now they need to answer it with a nice drive in order to let everybody know they're still in the ball game.
Horn, right side, tries to sprint out, finds a little daylight, maybe up to about the 28-yard line. Pickup of 5 on the play. Now they like that right side of the offensive line. Fouling behind Wes Cody and Dan Billy Waldrop. And we've got the end of quarter number 1. The Aggies trailed by 7, but 14 unanswered points has put Texas A&M up 14-7 on Nebraska. Texas A&M in their 108th season of football, 82,600, a sellout. And of course, the 12th man, very much a part of this Aggie tradition. And right now, Jamal Lord and company, they hung only the second first quarter touchdown on A&M's defense, but they haven't done a whole lot since. They trail 14-7 as quarter number 2 set to get underway. Keep it on the ground with David Horn, the freshman. Fights his way over the 35. Good for a first down. Here's Aaron Andrews.
Well, Ron, like you mentioned, Texas A&M is the home of the 12th man. The tradition dates back to 1922 when a student by the name of E. King Gill, he was watching an Aggie football game from the press box. Now, the story goes, Aggie football player after Aggie football player got injured. They had to leave the game. The coach sent word up to the press box that he needed Gill down by the field to put on a uniform. He did just that. Unfortunately, he never got on the football field, but his heroic gesture will never be forgotten. Now, Ron and Charles, that's why all the students stand up during the entire football game in case the team needs him out on the field. Now, it doesn't look like they need him on the field right now, but they're definitely helping out right now on the stands.
And very much a part of this tradition. And, of course, Jackie Sherrill used to have the 12th man on the kickoff, kind of got that thing going, and they still do it to this day.
And that was when Jackie brought it back. It was 10 guys going downfield were all walk-on 12th men. Yeah. Except for the kicker, who's probably a scholarship guy. And since that time, it's evolved to where one guy represents them on special teams.
Now 1st and 10 for the Huskers. Lord, 67 yards rushing the football. Keeps it, looking, throwing, incomplete. That Wrecking Crew defense all over it, and Lord had to take a seat after he let it go. Now, Texas A&M is one of the few teams, I think, in college football we still see playing that 3-4 defense. This dates back to 1983. R.C. Slocum said, we need to make a change. Sat down, redid it, and it's worked for him.
It's worked for him for a variety of reasons. One, he believes in it. He likes the fact that he can show a 3-man front, a 4-man front, or a 5-man front by using the linebackers. Also, it helps with recruiting. You can recruit a lot more linebacker types than you can those big down linemen. And their philosophy has worked awfully well for them.
On 2nd and 10, Lord keeps it over the 40. Up to about the 43-yard line before Brian Gamble trips him up. A&M's defense, 20 consecutive regular season games. They've held the opponent to getting 100 yards, having a person rush for 100 yards. There you see R.C. and his son Scott Slocum.
Big 3rd down for Nebraska because it's about 3rd and 4, which ordinarily is a pass down, but the way Nebraska likes to run it, look for Jamal Lord faking it and trying to keep it.
He does. Here comes the defense. Slips the tackle to the 45, scampers over out of bounds at the 48-yard line, and that'll be good enough for another Nebraska first down.
Missed tackle made the whole play work because it was one-on-one in open field. Watch Jamal Lord coming right at you at home, and right there with the stiff arm forces the missed tackle by Texas A&M, allows him to scamper out of bounds with a first down. Toughest tackle in football, one-on-one in open field, especially with an elusive quarterback such as Jamal Lord.
And he's big too. He's 6'2", 220.
Yeah, he actually used a stiff arm like Walter Payton used to do.
That's an impressive stat. Over 7 yards on first down, but they're not going to get that this time.
And that's what Frank Solich really wanted to avoid tonight, is going into 2nd and long, 3rd and long.
Well, next week, just a reminder, we'll head back out to the Pac-10 next Saturday at 7 o'clock Eastern on TBS. The UCLA Bruins take on the Washington Huskies. And Rick Neuheisel's squad trying to stop the bleeding, and, of course, executive decision, which both coaches Bob Toledo and Rick Neuheisel make all the time. We'll be following in our movie bowl. A loss of 1 on the play. 2nd and 11. Davies and Dietrich in the I formation. Lord gets a block, looking for some more. Oh, loses the football. Still loose. And I think that Nebraska is going to keep it as it went out of bounds. Jolly was right in the middle of that play. Jess Honeycutt, also a senior from Amarillo, Texas, coming up, and Lord may hear a phone ringing right about now.
And A&M had the best shot at getting the loose football, but the first guy to reach for it was actually out of bounds. Watch as the ball comes free. See Honeycutt? See where he is? Yeah. He's over the sideline. So even if he's able to recover it, he's not able to keep the football because he's out of bounds initially. Jamal Lord trying to get past his own man blocking Darren Diedrich. See where Honeycutt did? And what a great play by Lord at the end. Yeah. Batting the football out of bounds, knowing that his team will keep possession. Very heady.
Now Nebraska 3 of 5 on third down. You can see the numbers for Lord.
Worst situation for Nebraska. 3rd and 11. Almost have to throw the football here.
And he will. Penalty flag is thrown. Pass incomplete. Intended for Wilson Thomas. Byron Jones on the coverage.
Thinking man's quarterback. Honeycutt's out of bounds, so he doesn't get to keep possession anyway, but Lord, Jamal Lord, number 10 for Nebraska, makes sure no one else can get it. As you see, I believe Jackson Appel, number 19, coming into the play, trying to get on the football. He got it out of bounds so that no one else could have it but Nebraska. Even though it's a loss, they kept possession.
Here's Cooper Castleberry, our referee for this evening.
Offsides on the defense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay the down.
Well, that's a break for Nebraska.
Huge break for Nebraska. And another problem that Nebraska has in long yardage situations where they have to throw the football, their pass offense isn't very diversified, so everything's a 1 or a 2 receiver pattern. A lot easier to cover rather than teams that spread the field on you and flood you with 3, 4, and 5 receivers.
Now they're going to stack the eye again.
Last time they used this formation, they faked it inside and ran the option to the wide side of the field.
Lord keeps it up to the 45-yard line, and he'll be 3 yards short of the first down.
I'm sorry, Ron, same play they ran before. This time they just came short side. You know, they had all the field to the wide side where everyone expected them to go, tried to fool them, run what they call a counter to what you normally do. Came to the short side, nothing doing. They have to kick the ball away.
Well, Frank Solich, formerly of Johnstown, Pennsylvania, grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, spent a lot of time there. Got a great work ethic out of that. Bethel Johnson standing back on his own 10-yard line.
Yeah, what's he, 2nd, 3rd generation coal miners?
Yep. Dad even had black lung. Fair catch is called. Hits at the 2. It'll go into the end zone. 45 yards on the kick. Now Larson tried to get it to bite at about the 3. Wouldn't do it. Texas A&M will take over. 1st and 10 from their own 20. 3 minutes gone by here in the second. O'clock Eastern as the NBA tips off exclusively on TNT. Now Texas A&M trying to keep it on the ground. Straight ahead running.
See what Nebraska did on that defensive possession, Craig Bohl. What he did was he took his linebackers and filled the gaps with them. You know, it's one of those hit or miss type deals too, because if you're able to gash them and give your running back a little space to get through the gap, there'd be a lot more room to run because you've taken away the second level. That's Craig Bohl, the defensive coordinator for Nebraska. He's received so much criticism, and I don't think a lot of it is warranted.
No.
You know, he's had a lot of injuries. Their best rush in, Chris Kelsey, is not going to play again tonight. Very difficult situation for him.
Weber and Joseph now in the backfield. Dustin Long looking to throw. Into the flat, pass incomplete, intended for the sophomore from Houston, Keith Joseph. You know, you look at Dustin Long, we talked in the open how he was a 3rd-team quarterback at the start of the year. Mark Ferris was the #1 quarterback at the start of the year, the 27-year-old former baseball player. Well, all of a sudden he has an elbow problem. Long takes over. Mark Ferris could have been very disruptive. He has been anything but that. A very mature young man has handled the demotion quite well.
Yeah, and you see him signaling in plays and staying very active and a part of it. And one of the questions we asked the coaches was, is his elbow healed enough that he becomes a second guy? Well, the elbow's healed, but Reggie McNeil's now the second guy, and he still accepted that with great equilibrium. A fine young man is Mark Ferris.
Oshlar Fleming, the only one in the backfield now with Long. Here comes the rush. Look out from the backside. Long gets away, still on his feet. Up to the 24-yard line. It'll be short of the first down, and A&M will be forced to kick it away.
And if you're a Nebraska fan, you've got to love what you just saw. The black shirts forcing a 3 and out, and that gives them a chance to get DeJuan Gross on the field. and hopefully change some field position now with a good punt return. Gross came into the game averaging a little more than 20 yards a return. As you mentioned earlier, three returned already this year for touchdowns.
Cody Skates had to hurry that one up, the number 3 punter in the country. Gross at the 40, up to the 50. Stepped out of bounds. The officials are going to mark it back at about the 48-yard line. Looks like they're still moving around. 39 yards on the kick. TBS Big Play Saturday is presented in part by Best Buy and Discover Card. It pays to discover, so use your Discover Card to buy the latest stuff at Best Buy and turn on the fun. Along with Charles Davis, Craig Sager, Aaron Andrews, I'm Ron Thulin. Welcome you back to Texas A&M University. A&M leads at 14-7. We have 10:35 left in the second. Nebraska, though, with great field position. Straight ahead running. That's what was so successful in the first quarter with Darren Diedrich.
And how did they get the good field position? They forced the 3 and out deep in A&M territory. And then DeJuan Gross had a 21-yard punt return. Change field position for Nebraska. It helps Frank Solich with his play calling, especially getting 6 yards on first down.
That does help, especially if you're in this option offense. It sets up a 2nd and 4. This time they try the right side, and the wrecking crew is right there to meet Diedrich. Marcus Jasmine, the sophomore out of New Orleans, leading the charge from the front guys. Well, this is the #1 rush offense in the conference versus the #1 rush defense in the conference. You always wonder what's going to break when those two meet.
Was that the irresistible object versus the immovable force?
That's right. Nebraska 50% on 3rd down tries tonight. They have 3rd down and about 2. Lauren looks for the seam, leans ahead, and he should have the first down.
He is a single wing tailback under center.
That's exactly right.
Because every one of his option runs that goes outside does not necessarily end totally on the perimeter. He has no qualms about ducking inside and getting the tough yards necessary for a first down. And ball was run between guard and tackle.
That's right.
After the fake inside. Ordinarily in an option game, fake it inside. The quarterback wants to take it all the way out to the perimeter to force the option game. But an old single wing tailback would run between tackles. This is why it helps when Jamal Lord is 6'2", 210. He's just a little bit short. And if you're Frank Solich, is there really a decision
here?
There's not a decision. I don't think so.
There's a choice to make, but not a decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
I think you go for it right here.
Now you got Garrison at 290, Erickson at 295, West Cody at 295. So the interior of your line, not exactly small potatoes.
Your tight end Aaron Galladay is 290.
Yeah.
Pound this thing inside, maybe even Jamal Lord on a sneak.
4th down. Tried to hop over the top. I'm not sure if the 2nd or 3rd effort got it. J.C. Limbach, the umpire, trying to get the ball away.
And if he got it, he's fortunate because he did not use his 210 pounds to his best advantage.
He went over the top.
He went over the top, and when he jumps, remember when you jump, you take away your momentum. You notice that? Because he really had no force going forward. It was just a little hop over the top. Ordinarily, you take the snap, get low, and burrow behind those big guys. Watch as he goes over the top. He has no force, and look at how he's met and knocked backwards. Boom. See that? Because what they teach you as a running back is to dip your shoulder one side or the other down so that you have a way to create some space. Even if you're hit, you slide as opposed to being knocked straight back. Jamal Lord was knocked straight back.
Plenty of room.
Yeah, he got it. He got on the 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, that's right.
The 2nd, 3rd effort, which is the point you made. Because if he doesn't have that, he doesn't get it. Watch the initial contact. Boom, he stopped. No first down. But see how he stays with it? And then Darren Diedrich behind him actually aids him. And I know that A&M will look at the film and say, that's illegal.
That's
no
right.
pushing from behind.
Everybody does it.
It just matters who gets caught.
Lord fakes the option. Throwing, has a man complete to the 10. Tight broke down. Thomas, no, stepped out of bounds at the 5. The senior with a 28-yard reception and his 4th of the evening.
take a look at from our All-State camera from the back goal post. The option went to the right side of the screen. The throwback went opposite to the left side. That's more like it for Nebraska, getting big yardage on their pass plays, 28 in this instance.
Good call by the official. Wrecking crew defense right there. We want to thank Allstate for providing tonight's goalpost cam. You are in good hands with Allstate.
Notice when that last pass came, too. First down.
That's right.
After they've been successful running the football downfield.
Now the Nebraska faithful have made their way down. About a 14-hour drive. They were here to meet the team yesterday when it drove in. Second and goal, ball on about the 6.
Stack eye again.
A lot of movement. Lord inside the 5, down to about the 3-yard line.
That should go back against Nebraska. I think they had illegal procedure on the play.
There's a lot of jumping around, and there's some hankies laying down there.
Ah.
Whoa.
I thought Nebraska jumped, but maybe I got fooled by the back being in motion, which is legal for him to do as he moves parallel.
Second penalty against A&M.
It's A&M rocking, trying to stay in there, trying to hold their water right there.
Boy, that's pretty close.
Number 99, David Ross, trying to get off on the snap.
Offsides on the defense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay second down.
Well, now it's second down. We'll call it 3 for the touchdown. Nebraska trying to salvage the season. Coming in at 5-3, only 1-2 in the Big 12 Conference. This will be the 7th play of the drive. They've covered about 37 yards in 2 minutes. Lord keeps it. This time tries to burrow his way. May have gotten down to about the 2.5-yard line. This is where Nebraska in the past, they'd have the 300-plus linemen, as Frank Solich wants to talk about it. They'd just get behind these big guys and just run it.
Yeah, notice now there has to be a little more deception in what they're doing. The stack eye, faking it to the first guy, and what Jamal Lord did was try and follow him through the hole.
Frank Solich would love to tie this game up. They've called a timeout. Hey, check out what's coming to TBS.
The man who killed his friend just made the world's worst enemy. Steven Seagal. Out for Justice, Sunday, November 3rd on TBS Superstation.
Well, out for justice, Steven Seagal. Nebraska fans are out for a little respect. Third down and goal from the 2.
Gone back to the conventional I formation with a fullback and tailback.
Pitch it back. Horn. Did he get in? He got touchdown. There's the sign. The true freshman from Omaha took the hit, reached over, got it over the goal line.
Just have to have the ball cross the plane. Just get it to the goal line. Jared Morris, number 45, with the hit. And see how Horn extended? Put the ball on the line, touchdown.
And the extra point is good, and we are tied at 14. Texas A&M has given up only 23 first-half points the entire season. And tonight they've given up 14 already. Well, each week we bring our soapbox to the respective campuses to see who has a chance to jump on and show us a little school spirit. Let's check out this week.
The Fight Texas Aggies are going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
And we've got the Fight Texas Aggie class of 2004. Woo! Aggies don't cheer, they yell.
2, 3. Be the hell out of Nebraska. Hey!
Well, tonight's winner on the rant receives an EA Sports Pack and is eligible to join Ernie live at the Big Game House on November 23rd. Miriam Trainer, you got a shot. You're our winner tonight. Good job.
I like the way Miriam made sure we understood.
Yeah.
There's no cheerleaders here. They're yell leaders.
And don't ever get
them confused because you don't want Miriam visiting you and making sure that she's got it right. Congratulations, Miriam.
There's the yell-laters.
What a great job they do, huh?
That's incredible tradition. Josh Brown's kick and end over end. Bethel Johnson from the 3 has some running room. Up over the 30. Run out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. 36 yards on the return for Bethel Johnson. Run out by Marcus Simmons. We've got a Nebraska player down on the field. Looks like Lanny Hopkins. Well, may be able to take a look at it again from the start.
This kind of air, you just wonder how damp it is and how much the ball really is going to carry. You know, I don't know much about all those things, but sometimes you can't get as much foot into it as you want. Bethel Johnson almost got to the corner. Excellent job by number 33 for the Huskers. Marcus Simmons not letting him get to the corner and get upfield even further.
Laney Hopkins still on the ground. With that, with 7:33 left in the half, we'll take a timeout. We're tied at 14 from College Station. Back at College Station, looks of concern on the Nebraska sideline for good reason. Laney Hopkins took quite a shot on that kickoff return. He is moving. They're not taking any chances. Watch in the middle of your screen.
You always hear about the guys who play wedge buster. Right in the middle here, 41 and 98 in maroon, hitting Laney Hopkins, number 4. You see his head snap? You know, you hope that it's just a bad stinger. Sometimes you get that small loss of sensation, the way that his head snapped there. Excellent block by the Aggies, and you just hope he's okay. And there's Frank Solich, the head coach, out checking on his fallen player.
Well, they don't want to take any chance when you have that head whip. Let's go to the big game house with Ernie Johnson. EJ.
Yeah, Ron, we can update you on one of the games this afternoon. Unbeaten Georgia trying to stay that way in a real battle with Kentucky. Tony Milton with a big block in the backfield. Terrence Edwards from David Green. Georgia outscored Kentucky 31-0 in the second half to win at 52-24. They are 8-0. Back to you, Ron.
All right, Ernie. Now, Kentucky gave him a little run for the money in the first half of that ball game.
Yeah, it was 24-21 last I saw it near the tail end of the first half. Kentucky ahead. What a performance by the Dogs in the second half.
Now, good news. Laney Hopkins is up and he's walking off the field with a little help.
Listen to the ovation from the crowd. A very classy gesture on behalf of Texas A&M. You know, you often hear about the Nebraska fans and how classy they are when you go on the road. And,
that's right.
You know, the ovation they give teams that are sometimes outmanned but play very valiantly. You know, and they always take care of them that way. Nice to see the gesture return here in College Station.
Now, Texas A&M's offense has scored 40 or more points in the last 3 games. Best since 1941. Now take over. Little play action pass. Long. Looks into the flat. Complete. Incomplete. Bobbled. Bethel Johnson was stripped by DeJuan Gross on the play. What a great story, though, with Bethel Johnson. Here's a young man last year, took a hit in the Wyoming game. Didn't even know it, but he had injured his spleen, played the whole game. After the game, went down on one knee, couldn't get up. Took him to the hospital, had his spleen removed. Thought he was doing well, then this summer had to go and get another operation.
Yeah, he had intestinal blockage. And with the intestinal blockage, they had to do a surgery with a scope called laparoscopic surgery. And if he had had the regular surgery where they cut him open, he wouldn't be playing right now.
Lost 20 pounds, gained it all back. 2nd and 10, long, going deep, has a man, incomplete. Intended again for Bethel Johnson. One of the things when we looked at the tape, we wanted to make sure that Dustin Long did have a gun, because at times, quite honestly, threw a couple of ducks last week in the game against Kansas. He's only tonight he's 4 for 10 throwing the football, but he does have a little lump on it.
Yeah, and that one he had a chance to put some air under the ball and throw it. The question I had was when he had to throw the deep outs or the crossing routes, did he have enough on it to get there? But his receivers get open enough that sometimes he doesn't need a big arm.
Nebraska brings 5. A&M keeps it on the ground, and Oshlor Fleming, the junior out of Denton, Texas, stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. And again, A&M forced to kick it away. Good job, Nebraska defense.
And for Craig Bohl, the defensive coordinator of Nebraska, he could not have drawn up a better blueprint because his team is getting better as the game goes on. They've made some adjustments. He's crowding the line of scrimmage more with the black shirts. And A&M's not finding holes to run through right now. In the last couple possessions, they forced A&M to punt.
Time to try to kick away from Jawan Gross. Good punt by Cody Skates. No chance for a return. Mark it right at the 20, 41 yards on the kick. Now let's take a look at so far what has happened in the first quarter. Very impressive opening drive. 80 yards, 73 on the ground, capped by Darren Diedrich. Then the block punt, Charles.
Yeah, that was a big play because I think that A&M saw something in Nebraska's protection and drew up a special block for this game. And then Dustin Long came back with a touchdown pass to Joe Weber. Before Nebraska came back, the nice run by David Horn. So both I-backs for Nebraska have scored tonight.
Davies and Horn again in the I formation. Look for the reverse. Horn keeps it. Splits them to the 25 to the 27-yard line. Morris on the stop, coming up from that middle linebacker spot. Well, if you play for Nebraska or play for Texas A&M on defense and you're a linebacker, you better be able to run.
You have to. And we see one of the famous mascots in college athletics, Reveille.
He got a rubber band on his nose? I thought Reveille was friendly.
I think Revelle's probably very friendly. I don't know what the rubber band's for, but she might have a few words to talk to someone about it.
That penalty flag is thrown as Horn gets close to the 30. Let's go down to Aaron Andrews.
All right, Ron and Charles. Well, I'd like to introduce you to a vocal five-star general and the official school mascot here at Texas A&M. This is Miss Lady Reveille. Now, this is no ordinary pooch. This dog is treated like a queen on this campus. And I'd like to also introduce you to her mascot coordinator, or corporal actually. This is Jordan Chaddock, and he does not have an easy job. He has to take her to campus. He has to take her to class. She even sleeps in his dorm room. Now, the tradition goes, if Rev wants to sleep on the bed, Jordan has to hit the tile floor. And Jordan told me Rev loves the bed. So we know who wears the pants in this family.
Aaron.
Yes.
What's with the rubber band on Reveille? I mean, this is a beautiful dog. What's with the rubber band around her snout?
That's actually kind of like her collar to keep her intact and everything. Let me tell you, I've been watching this dog all game. They give her so many snacks. What do you give her? Steak?
Steak and chicken.
Steak and chicken.
Well, she is a five-star.
Back to you.
She is a five-star general. She can get whatever she wants.
Second down and 14. Penalty was against the Huskers. Second and long, not ideal. Ward gets hit right as he pitches the Horn. Horn stepped out of bounds, stayed on his feet, didn't get much running room. Gerard Penwright came up and put the quarterback pressure on and really gave Lord a hit. Now, once you pass away as Reveille, that doesn't mean they forget you. They actually have the graves of Reveille, the First Lady of A&M, right outside the stadium. Very sacred ground here at Texas A&M. And when they did the renovation, they actually had to move the grave.
And if the grave is positioned so that Reveille can all the Reveilles can see the scoreboard and watch A&M play. Get to know all the scores of all the games.
Interesting. LaFleur in motion. Ward, another little slip screen pass is complete to LaFleur, the true freshman out of Omaha, Nebraska, but the wrecking crew right there to meet him.
Third time we've seen that play tonight. The first two went to Wilson Thomas, number 9, a 6'6" target. This time they went to Mark LaFleur, the true freshman. He's 5'11". Height doesn't really matter on that play, but what's happening is that the wrecking crew is starting to get a bead on some of the play calls now. They were able to anticipate, get underneath the screen, and make the tackle well short of the first down.
Well, Larson averaging just over 42 on the season. Not good tonight, though. Bethel Johnson back at his 31-yard line. Penalty flag is thrown before they get this thing going.
There was time on the play clock, so maybe someone jumped.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5 yards, still fourth down.
Well, Frank Solich, I think he has to be concerned. They've already blocked one of his kicks tonight. You don't want to back up any further.
Look at the left side of the screen for Nebraska, making all the calls right there. Saw the guy kind of flinch a little bit, and that's all it takes officials are on top of it. And the 5 yards they just gave up, that's what they call hidden yardage. Doesn't really show up in the stats, but it could be a big play for field position on this exchange.
Larson, a good kick. Johnson has to back up to his 24. Looking for some room, tripped up as he crosses the 30 up to the 33-yard line. 55 yards on the kick, 10 on the return. TBS Big Play Saturday, brought to you by T-Mobile. With T-Mobile, you get more from life. Get more minutes, more features, more service. And by the Home Depot, driving down the cost of home improvements. 4:16 left to play in the half. Nebraska, if you just joined us, jumped out to a 7-0 lead, but then A&M 14 unanswered points. And then Nebraska came back to tie it up at 14. That's where we are now.
And A&M hasn't had much success on offense the last few possessions. Nebraska playing well. I'm wondering if Kevin Sumlin, the offensive coordinator, may try to open things up a little bit more.
Well, they split 2 wide receivers, top of the screen and bottom of the screen. Long gives it off to Weber. Crosses the 35 up to about the 37 with more. Down on the field, here's Craig Sager.
Well, Lanny Hopkins suffered a slight concussion on that kickoff coverage. He was wobbly as he's helped off the field, but after sitting on the sideline for a few minutes, the cobwebs are gone. He's actually been joking with his teammates and wanted to go back into the game, but Dr. Pat Clare, after evaluating him, said he better hold him out for precautionary reasons, but he appears to be okay. Right?
Don't want to take any chances whatsoever.
Yeah, glad to see that he's up and vision is starting to clear a little bit. Not quite as fuzzy.
2nd down and 6. Weber trying to dance around the right side, and the black shirts are there to cover him up. Leading the charge, coming in, Demorial Williams from that linebacker spot. Also Justin Smith there to make the tackle.
What I've noticed early in this game is that the best plays for A&M running the football have been more straight ahead. Watch as he goes laterally. Joe Weber, number 28. Demorial Williams, number 7, stays in the hole, doesn't buy the fake, allows number 92, Justin Smith, to clean up. Good play. We talk about the 3-4 defense. That allows you to do that sort of thing. Stay with play, skate with 4 linebackers. Nebraska's doing it out of the 4-3. I see A&M having more success straight ahead as opposed to laterally.
3rd down and 9. Long. 5-step drop, fires into the flat. Complete. 1st down. Terrence Murphy, the sophomore out of Tyler, Texas. This is a young man that was one of the surprises last year. Had to play as a freshman. This year, that's his 18th catch, coming off a season last year where he set a bunch of freshman receiving records.
And what we saw there was the difference in offenses between A&M and Nebraska. 3rd and long, A&M still has an opportunity, or I should say a better opportunity to make a 1st down, because Dustin Long can go back in the pocket and fire a strike. Jamal Lord's going to struggle in that aspect of the game.
On 1st and 10, they give it to Weber. Tries to cut back against the grain, picks up about 3 on the play. Williams again in on the tackle. Shanley, Des Moines, Adams also there. Now let's check out our instant poll results. Fans, you were able to vote. Will Nebraska win its 34th consecutive bowl game? 46% say yes and 54% say no. We should break that down. How many are north? Up into the Des Moines, up in the Omaha area.
I've got to admit, 46%, only 46% saying yes based on Nebraska's history.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, listen to too much talk radio. 3-step drop by Long, looking pass complete. Again, it is Murphy. Down to the 30-yard line. Well, they weren't afraid to throw against DeJuan Gross.
And you have to do that. You can't just let him go the whole game thinking there's going to be no action. You have to keep him occupied. And the reason they were able to do it, quick slant pattern coming inside with Murphy, but they ran a double slant. Had an inside slot receiver going inside and taking the strong safety out of the play. Strong safety ran inside with the number 2 receiver. That opened up a lot of space for Murphy.
Pick up with 21 on the play. Nebraska brings 5. They do a little reverse to Johnson. Looking for a block. Over the 30, has some room. Cuts inside of the 15-yard line before he's ushered out of bounds by Fabian Washington.
The block is going to come over here. Thomas Carragher, number 98. He's got the block on the perimeter. They allow Bethel Johnson to outrun Justin Smith, number 92, but Carragher, great block on Shanley, number 43. Their best linebacker, Scott Shanley, the former walk-on. See, everyone's occupied inside. Bethel Johnson's speed outruns the first guy, gets a great block by Thomas Carragher, number 98, and gets to the corner. Well executed.
Tell you what, they went for the fake, too, on Weber on that. Good ball fake by Long. Two wide receivers to the left. Nebraska's showing blitz. Long just going to have to throw it away. Looking for Carragher, the former defensive lineman. Here's Ernie in the big game house.
Where we are preparing for the Chili's halftime report, Ron, and really all you folks at home who said through 8 games Notre Dame will be 8-0, please raise your hands. You lie. You do. We'll have Notre Dame's highlights, though. They remain undefeated. Ohio State, same story. And Texas would be undefeated if it hadn't been for that game against Oklahoma, but they were winners today. So the Chili's halftime report coming your way in just a few minutes, and we've got Chili's food here, Ron, while you eat your corn dog. Think about that.
No, we had great fried chicken and barbecue early tonight. Strong food at A&M. Long going for Paters. Has the man in the corner, tipped away at the last second by DeJuan Gross, intended for Murphy. And a camera person took a hit. That's a denture check for them.
Well, I know the idea is to keep DeJuan Gross somewhat occupied, not just let him think that nothing's coming his way. But you got to be careful. All right, watch DeJuan Gross. He reads the play and comes off of his coverage and backs up into the other coverage. That wasn't even his guy. He backed off out of one coverage into another and made a play on the football. So if you're Kevin Sumlin,
yeah.
When you're calling plays, yeah, you know, keep him occupied. Well, let's not challenge him too much.
Well, you got to be smart about it. Long has a little bit of pressure into the flat. Pass is complete to Chief Joseph. He is tricked up to get inside the 10-yard line, down to the 8-yard line. That'll set up a 4th down. Going out, your R.C. Slocum, your offense seems to have kicked it into another gear, and they are going for it.
And you remember the first field goal attempt that Pegram kicked wasn't one that was confidence inspiring.
That's right.
So in this case, since you haven't been all that great kicking the ball all year anyway, let's line up and go for it.
Carragher and Massey, 2 tight ends in the lineup. 4th down and 2. Long looking to pass, has a man in the end zone, knocked away, penalty. That'll be interference on Washington. Now the young man thought he made a great play, and so did Frank Solich. But the Hankies are out.
And in a lot of ways, this was a bailout. And I don't mean necessarily the call, because I want to see it again. But the tight end was wide open, and it took too long for the ball to get
Pass
there.
interference on the defense in the end zone. By rule, the ball is placed at the 2-yard line.
He was hit.
Yep.
First down.
Good call by the officials on the field. Fabian Washington coming back to try and make the play. But you notice how long it took for the ball to get there? Not necessarily Dustin Long's fault. But that's a tough play there because the tight end, Haven Massey, had to cut his pattern short to come back and get it.
Weber didn't get in. Penalties have been a problem for this Nebraska team. Frank Solich telling us yesterday and also in a conference call on Thursday that just when they seem like they're going, all of a sudden they get a penalty that knocks them down. Happened again tonight. Now tonight's pre-play is created with NCAA Football 2003 from EA Sports. It's in the game, and here's next week's pre-play. Washington against UCLA, and Washington's Cody Pickett hits wide receiver Charles Frederick with a touchdown, and the Huskies lead 17-14. Ensuing kickoff, Matthew Clark of the Bruins, 100 yards for a touchdown. UCLA leads 21-17. We move along to the 4th quarter in beautiful Seattle. Pickett's pass intercepted by Ricky Manning Jr. The Bruins hold on and win. Log on to easports.com. Cast your vote for the outcome of next week's game. Be sure to join us at 7 o'clock Eastern to find out the real outcome. EA Sports, it's in the game.
Now that's humping it, right? That's what they call humping it, the position you assume before the yell or during the yell. So before we get into trouble, right? That's the definition here in College Station.
Well, that's what I did when I was bad when I was a kid. I assumed the position for my mother. Yeah.
For mom.
For mom. It was called discipline back then.
We got another timeout on the field.
Timeout.
Nebraska. Well,
Second
Nebraska
timeout.
with just 26 seconds left to play in the opening half, and Frank Solich's team now trying to hold on. Second down and goal from the 2-yard line. Once again, though, we've seen Nebraska, though, Charles. We've seen they've played well at times, but then we had the block kick. And then you go ahead and you have the penalty on 4th down. Looks like they had Texas A&M stop, not able to do it. Once again, they're playing good football. They're going up man against Texas A&M, but just not able to come up with that one thing that'll keep them from stubbing their toe.
And the tough part for them is trying to find a way to get past that without losing their aggressiveness. See, you know, a lot of times when you commit penalties in this situation, it makes you less aggressive the rest of the ball game because you say, oh boy, last time I went for the ball, I created a penalty. And so now that takes you away and takes you out of playing the game the way you need to play it, which is at full speed, 100% all out. Fabian Washington, number 3, the corner's thinking, boy, I went for the ball, now I've caused a penalty. Yeah. Next time, maybe I'll lay back, and then other plays happen to you, bigger plays. So that's a tough one for them because it keeps happening and happening and happening, and they've got to find a way to get over the hill. The only way, I think, is to continue to do it, continue to go after the football, and once a good play happens, better plays continue to happen after that. They've just got to make that one good play to get them past this.
And you can't play not to lose.
No, and that's what always gets you in trouble. And the tough thing for A&M right now is they're not running the football very well, so they're now in pass situations.
Well, they've got second down and goal from the 2. Long, rolling, looking, passing, incomplete. Nice defensive play by Fabian Washington, making up for it on Terrence Murphy.
That's what I love about this youngster, Fabian Washington, number 3. He's a true freshman. But what he just showed us, short-term memory, which is great for a defensive back. He's the one who got the penalty that kept this drive alive. And what did we just say? He has to keep going for the ball. He does so here and makes an excellent play, knocking away a potential touchdown pass. Sometimes it's good to be young.
That's right.
Because you're not really fazed by very much.
3rd and goal for the Aggies. Johnson in motion. Long, looking, passing, touchdown, Texas A&M. Greg Porter, who's also in the Anaheim Angels farm system with his 2nd touchdown reception of the evening. Or I should say the year.
Now this young man is their 3rd down specialist because he's had 20. That was a 26th ball that he's caught on the year. They had 16 of those before were for first downs. This one goes for a touchdown. He's the guy you have to find in key situations. Porter, coming from the tight end position on the right side, just runs a short little route into the flat. All the other receivers are occupying the defensive backs and linebackers. He's wide open. Dustin Long delivers it right on time. And Texas A&M goes back into the lead.
2nd touchdown pass tonight for Dustin Long. Greg Porter's a big guy, too. 6'5", 230 pounds. His baseball season in the summer was winding out. He was debating whether to come back or not and play football. And obviously, R.C. Slocum kept calling him up saying, you got to come back. You have to come back. And he thought, listen, what am I going to miss? 90 at-bats?
Exactly.
Got to come back and play football.
Listen, as soon as Coach Slocum calls and the Aggie war hymns playing in the background, especially when he catches him on a cell phone on a 14-hour bus trip, coming back to Aggie land sounds awfully good, doesn't it?
Right. Now Texas A&M has the lead 21-14. Prior to tonight, Nebraska has trailed in 4 games. They've only been able to come back and win 1 of those.
But all in all, would you think that Frank Solich feels pretty good about his?
I think you have to.
Because of the effort they put forth in the first half, again, their own errors have hurt them. But at the same time, they're showing no signs of going away.
Now they squib kick it. Davis picks it up. Gets up to the 30 and run out of bounds at the 33-yard line with about 11 seconds left on the clock, and now we got some pushing and shoving. Looks like Davis is the one who got caught. Once again, if that is on Davis, that's a stupid penalty.
And they're going to have to determine the severity of the penalty also, because I saw him come up, and I don't know if they're going to determine it a punch or they're going to determine it a jab. Yes. You know, one of those short ones underneath. Let's see what they call. It's a personal foul, because if it's a punch, he can be ejected, and he's their main kick return guy. This could be interesting.
Now the officials are going to talk it over to make absolutely sure.
After the play, a dead ball personal foul against Nebraska. Half the distance, 15 yards, first down.
Watch the end of the play. Here's the tackle. It was inbounds. They continued out of bounds. Players stayed with it, but I don't think there was anything more going on other than they both slid into the tarp. Right there is probably what Josh Davis was, and right there was the jab that came underneath. Yeah. And I'm telling you, he's a lucky young man right now.
That's
no ifs, ands, or buts. He's very lucky at this point.
Now 11 seconds left in the first half. They keep it on the ground, trying to play it safe with Judd Davies, the fullback. That's going to do it. 30 minutes are in the books. Texas A&M fell behind early on, but they have answered as they head to the locker room. They lead 21-14. Craig Sager on the field with Coach Slocum.
Well, Coach, that go-ahead drive kept alive on a gutsy 4th and 2 call. What led you to your decision to go for it?
Well, we just felt like we were down here. We needed a momentum shift, and I thought it was just, I had a gut feeling we could get it in.
When they took the opening drive and marched down for a touchdown, how did that affect your defense?
Well, we talked to them on the sideline and said, you know, it's early in the ball game. We had them 3rd and long there several times in that drive. We missed some tackles. So we just got to settle down. It's been my experience over the years playing option teams. It takes you a little bit to catch up with the tempo of the game, and I think we're playing the option better now.
All right, thank you very much. The score at halftime right now, 21-14. Texas A&M scoring after blocking a punt, then recovering a fumble, going in for a short drive, and then just moments ago taking the lead 21-14. Now let's go to EJ in the Big Game House.
Welcome back to Big Play Saturday, presented by Discover Card and T-Mobile. As we get ready to start the 3rd quarter, Texas A&M holding on to that 7-point advantage, 21-14 over the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Ron Thulin. You look at the numbers, no consolation to Nebraska, but you look at the numbers, you say the Cornhuskers should be winning. It has been mistakes and penalties that has cost them.
It happens each and every ball game. The games that they've lost, they've had a punt blocked against them tonight. They've had penalties in key situations. The last one led to the touchdown for Texas A&M, the one that's been the deciding factor, putting them up 7 at the half.
Well, let's take a look at those Home Depot statistics from the first 30 minutes of play, and you can look at the yardage right there. 202, only 146 to an A&M offense that's 400-plus yards the last 4 games.
Yeah, you look at the rushing totals. Jamal Lord has over 80 yards rushing himself, while the leading rusher for Texas A&M is Dustin Long, their quarterback. He has 24 yards. Derek Farmer, their starting tailback, has 0 yards on 5 carries. Notice there's 1 turnover listed. Really, it's 1 turnover and the block punt. That's the issue. That's been the issue in the first half for Nebraska, because the block punt doesn't count as a turnover, but it might as well, because that was 7 points that went against them.
Now, if you're Nebraska, you have to be feeling pretty good about yourself, even though you trail in this football game, because you have done the job defensively.
And we also have to mention that Anthony Scolante was the guy who blocked the punt for Texas A&M. We got a few guys with duplicate numbers. Throws us off every now and then up here.
Well, you got a bunch of guys with the same number tonight. Texas A&M will receive the second half kickoff about 5 yards deep, and they'll take a seat. And Texas A&M will take over 1st and 10, their own 20. Take a look at the game summary. Nebraska, 80-yard drive on the opening possession. Then came the block punt by Scolante. Texas A&M takes it in for the touchdown. We're tied at 7. And then Dustin Long went to the air, Charles.
Joe Weber, a former tailback, now a fullback, getting out into the flat before the second I-back for Nebraska. David Horn powers his way in to tie the ball game. And then right before the half, Greg Porter, their baseball player turned tight end, catches the touchdown pass, giving A&M a 7-point advantage as we start the second half.
Long ago, quickly across the middle, pass is complete to Greg Porter. Porter, as you mentioned, in the Anaheim Angels organization. I wonder if halftime he went in to kind of check maybe a little World Series action there.
Well, what he wants to find out is if he's going to get a cut. I mean,
he's going to get one of the shares.
He wants to know if he's going to get a share in a ring.
Yeah, we've seen this young man progress over the years. When he came here a couple of years ago, everybody knew he had probably the best hands on the team. You talk about what type of possession receiver he is. He is the best on this squad.
Yeah, most of his catches go for first downs. The last one went for a touchdown.
Now Greg Porter in the slot, but keep it on the ground. Dancing around, it's Farmer still on his feet. Nebraska trying to strip the football, but that'll be good enough for a first down for Texas A&M. Craig Sager had a chance to talk with head coach Frank Solich. Craig, what did he say?
Well, he said it was a very frustrating first half. He said we made too many mistakes. He said offensively, I like the way we're running the ball. I think we can catch him off guard with a couple of play action passes. But he says the big thing is defensively. We have to make something happen. We have to take more chances, look for a lot of zone blitzes so we can finally try to get a turnover. Right?
Well, absolutely. And also they have to make some adjustments. This has been the worst quarter for Nebraska throughout this year so far. Long again on the look-in. Pass is complete up to the 45-yard line, and Murphy takes it away from Fabian Washington. Now you can see what the Nebraska opponents have done on their opening drive in the second stanza. Touchdown, touchdown, and touchdown against Penn State, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State.
And all of them 80 yards. And what is the common thread besides the touchdowns? All losses.
That's right.
They all happened in the games that they lost. This is the first drive for Texas A&M. As we just saw, Terrence Murphy outmuscled the true freshman Fabian Washington on a quick slant pass for the first down. Excuse me, for the completion.
Whistle, 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 and flags are flying. Looks like they may have had too much time. Play clock showing 0.
Prior to the snap, delay of game by the offense. 5 yards, still second down.
R.C. Slocum was telling us yesterday just how impressive Dustin Long is. We mentioned he's a coach's son. He takes everything in. And you have to understand, football in Texas, especially A&M, it is enormous. There's a lot of pressure on this young man, but when we met him yesterday, he's about as low-key as you can get for a starting quarterback, I would think.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes from the fact that he never, I shouldn't say he didn't, but a lot of people never thought he'd be in this position. They thought he'd be a career backup, and he was not the people's choice, whether it was Ferris or Reggie McNeil, the true freshman. He's just letting it flow.
And he's flowing quite well now to Weber. He's got a little opening over the 40-yard line down to the 35-yard line. Shanley making the stop, and not before Weber picked up 25 yards on the play.
Joe Weber's become quite the target for Dustin Long out of the backfield. This goes back to what we talked about with Kevin Sumlin, the offensive coordinator, utilizing more people and their whole package on offense. Joe Weber, known as a tailback when he came here, now has become a fullback, and they're using him in the pass game as we see Kevin Sumlin, the new offensive coordinator, in the booth.
That's some pretty good tutelage under Mike Price at Washington State, Joe Tiller at Purdue. Long throws it out of the flat to Murphy. He has some running room over the 30-yard line down to the 27-yard line, and another penalty flag is thrown.
A lot of times on a quick screen, you're asking wide receivers to block and hold people for a while. Sometimes you end up with holding calls.
Let's talk about this Nebraska defense. R.C. Slocum said he had a lot of respect for the D of Nebraska, the black shirts. But over the years, we've seen where they have been successful. They've gotten great pressure from their defensive ends. This year, it doesn't seem like it's coming, especially with the injury to Chris Kelson.
And I think that's been the biggest key, because he's been the guy that you have to account for. So we see Craig Bohl, the defensive coordinator, wanting to send Texas A&M back on the penalty, back them up. But you need that good, strong rush in, and they've always had that in Nebraska.
Holding
the best teams.
On the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay the down.
Think about the Peter brothers.
Yeah.
Think about Grant Wistrom. I mean, you're talking about some guys
great players
who could bring it off of the end. When they won their first national championship under Tom Osborne, Terrell Farley, as a defensive end outside linebacker, came free all night long against Florida. This year, they're not getting the same pressure, and the numbers bear that out. I mean, you don't see Nebraska
ranked 5th, 6th in the Big 12 in defensive statistics when they have their normal football team.
This is a team that's always been strong against the run. They have always had great pressure. Haven't had great pressure the last couple of games. They had only 1 sack versus Oklahoma State. Played poorly in the 3rd and 4th quarter. That was a concern for Craig Bohl and Frank Solich coming into this game.
Got a break here with the hold on the perimeter on the quick screen. Now they have them in long yardage on 1st down.
1st down and 20. Long swings it out. Murphy sidesteps the first tackler, running room to the 20, to the 15-yard line. Greg Porter had the key block that sprang Terrence Murphy loose.
Watch Porter, number 44. Watch what he does coming downfield. It's a quick swing pass to Terrence Murphy. There's the block. Boom. Takes him right down. And then Murphy, with a great stiff arm, runs through a tackle and runs it down to the 15. See, as we take a look from our all-state camera, beautiful block, great shot by the camera from the goalpost behind the play. 31-yard gain for Texas A&M, 1st down.
Well, you're in good hands with All-State. We thank All-State for our goalpost cam. Long's pass knocked away at the last second. Patrick Kabongo, the big 6'6", 315-pound junior from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, with the block. Okay, it's Wachi Dimba Kabongo. You didn't want to say it, I will.
I'm glad you did. You have that silver tongue, sir. And what happens on a quick pass, what do you have to do? You have to get the hands down of the defensive lineman. Patrick Kabongo, obviously well tutored as a defensive lineman. Jeff Jamrog, a former Nebraska player, coaches the interior guys on the defensive side. Teaches them if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up in the passing lane.
Illegal formation on the offense. There are only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. It's 2nd down.
And sometimes what happens is guys go between different positions as a wide receiver, and in some positions you're on the line of scrimmage, some of them you're off, and as you mix and match, sometimes guys forget to be on the line or off the line. And in this case, they needed that 7th man. He wasn't there.
There's Big Kabongo, originally from Zaire.
Had a huge game against Iowa State earlier in a losing effort.
2nd down and 10. They keep it on the ground. Nebraska right there to wrap up Farmer.
Number 1, Derek Farmer, the ball carrier.
Philip Bland coming up from that free safety spot. Kabongo also in on the tackle. They're starting to creep up those safeties just a little bit on defense.
Well, they want to stack the line of scrimmage if A&M is going to try and run the football. And they're taking away all the gaps. They feel like if you get through one, we'll utilize all the other people. We're talking about the so-called 8 people in a box to get to you before you really get underway. You noticed A&M was able to make a block at the point of attack on one defender, and then Kabongo came through and was able to disrupt the play.
3rd down and 12. Long from the shotgun. Here comes the blitz into the end zone, into the 5-yard line, caught by Murphy. Bethel Johnson, no catch. He bobbled it. Well, Long had it on the money. Bethel just couldn't get the hands on it.
I still think the ball needs to be there with a little more pace. See how long it hangs in the air? That allowed DeJuan Gross catch-up speed. You know, he was able to make up ground while the ball was in the air, but the ball's on a line to Bethel Johnson going to the sideline. DeJuan Gross doesn't have a chance to make that play.
That's a good call by the official.
An excellent call by the official. See how he's right? The first one called it, but the one behind tells him he's juggling. Excellent piece of officiating, helping each other get the call correct.
Now they're going to try a 33-yard field goal. Begram's kick. This time he's going to split the uprights. And we're 11:08 to play in quarter number 3. Texas A&M adds 3 more onto the board. Timeout. A&M 24, Nebraska 14. Fans, you can vote for tonight's U.S. Army Players of the Game, powered by America Online. Simply log on to tbssuperstation.com or AOL keyword Big Play and cast your vote. And we'll give you the results a little bit later on in our telecast. Now, if you're Nebraska right now, you're down by 10, but I don't think it's time to press the panic button yet.
Not at all. Plenty of time to go in the 3rd quarter.
You know, a team like Nebraska that likes to run the football, people think they can't catch up with their offense. I know Air Force runs the ball all the time. They came from a lot of points down earlier this year to beat Cal. So it's not like they can't do it. You know, these teams just stay with their offense and use their defense to hold the other team down. There's plenty of time left.
Josh Davis crosses the 15, takes a big hit as he leans forward to the 18-yard line. Randall Webb, first one to make contact with him.
Score a touchdown one week.
That's right.
A big hit the next.
That'll work. Now Nebraska will take over. 1st and 10 from their own 19-yard line. You know, one of the problems I think Jamal Lord had when he took over for Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch, sometimes you have a tendency thinking you need to do exactly what he did. And I think Jamal Lord is learning he doesn't have to be Eric Crouch.
Now, being Jamal Lord will be more than good enough if all the rest of the pieces of the puzzle respond too.
Aaron Diedrich tries to cut against the grain, gets over the 20-yard line, pushed back by Gerard Penright, the senior from Aldine, Texas. Penright stays on him just a little extra to talk to him.
just a little howdy-do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think you make a really good point about Jamal Lord. And remember, Eric Crouch made a lot of great plays, but he had enough guys around him that allowed him to make great plays. Everyone has to respond along with Jamal Lord in order to bring out the full capability of what he can do.
2nd down and 7, straight ahead running again. Diedrich carrying 2 Aggies with him as he crosses the 35-yard line up to about the 36-yard line. Sean Weston, the junior out of Inglewood, California, was holding on for dear life.
Explosive yards coming right at you. Darren Diedrich, the eye back, just an isolation play, runs through the first tackle by number 19 Jackson Appel before Sean Weston, number 31, is able to ride him down. When Diedrich touches the ball, he explodes through gaps.
This is the way they started the opening half. This time Lord slips and falls. Standing over him, though, was big number 99 David Ross, the redshirt freshman out of Forney, Texas. Also, I think when you look at Nebraska, too, they haven't had a real breakaway threat, I don't think, outside of Horn, who has that now, since Ahman Green.
And David Horn is just a true freshman. And Frank Solich is very loyal to guys who have performed for him before, i.e. Darren Diedrich. So he's trying to find a way to balance the two of them in his offense right now.
Well, Diedrich's been a little frustrated in the past because he's not getting the carries.
Yeah, his carries are way down as compared to last year at this time.
Lord has some time, still buying some time. Looks to run. Aggies closing, crosses the 40 up to the 45-yard line, and he's ushered out of bounds. Jared Morris is the one who came up to push him out along with Sammy Davis.
Is it just me, or is he making a little bit more out of some of these plays than you would expect? Because it appeared to me that Texas A&M had the field closed.
Right.
And they also had him closed down. And he made a couple of moves and gained extra yardage. This guy be driving R.C. Slocum, Mike Hankwitz crazy. Make the tackle, and we've got him stopped.
How about 92 yards rushing? Once again, 20 straight games, the Aggies have not allowed somebody to rush for 100 yards. This time they pitch it back to David Horn, and the freshman gets the first down. Brian Gamble on the stop. Well, fans, for exclusive news and recruiting coverage of your favorite teams, all you have to do is log on now to Rivals.com. Now, with the high school football season about 6-7 games into it, everybody's talking about recruiting already, especially here in the state of Texas.
It's a season unto itself.
Season. 1st down and 10. Nebraska running the football successfully. They keep it on the ground with Horn. He trips, but not before he gets inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. You know, there is the Lombardi Award, one of the prestigious awards. Ty Warren, of course, from A&M. One of the candidates for that. Former President George Bush is the honorary chairman of the Lombardi Award, I might add. He's in attendance tonight.
Both of these schools have perennially had people who have been nominated for this award. Had guys walk away with that kind of hardware.
That's some serious hardware.
Yes, it is.
Horn dancing around, getting close to the first down as he nears the 35-yard line. Smith on the stop. Nice compliment, though, with Diedrich and Horn.
Oh,
you got the battering ram and you got a little speed coming in there.
Yeah, as the cliches go, the old thunder and lightning type of cliche, with Diedrich being the thunder and Horn, the Lightning? Because Horn was the first I-back to go over 100 yards this season. The first I-back to go over 100 yards since last November when Diedrich did it against Kansas State. And that's not normal in Nebraska's offense.
As you think of some of the great backs in Nebraska history and great fullbacks like Craig and Brackman and Makovica, they got some great tailbacks also thrown into the mix.
You can go all the way back to Jarvis Redwine, Isaiah Moses Hip, Rick Byrne.
There you go.
And they got Jeff Kinney.
Now the Wrecking Crew defense now looking for some stops. Lord has some time looking down the sideline, far sideline, tipped away. Intended for David Horn. He was on the linebacker, Penray.
Lord's pass is incomplete.
Here's Aaron Andrews.
We just talked about David Horn. He actually dreamed of playing in the NBA, but injured his thumb in high school. Nebraska definitely glad he changed his mind. Charles, you'll like this. He's the first true freshman to create such a buzz since Amon Green. In fact, Green and Horn both attended the same high school, Omaha Central.
All right, and I know why you tell me I like it, because I'm a Green Bay Packer fan.
There you go.
Amon Green is now running for the Packers. Thank you, Aaron.
Well, Nebraska is going to call a timeout with 7:57. Facing a 2nd down and 10 situation. Jamal Lord doesn't want to take any chances. They've got a nice drive going right now. They're still not successful throwing the football. Will they be able to do it? Facing 2nd and 10. They trail by 10. (24-14), Texas A&M leading Nebraska with 7:57 in the 3rd. And of course, the A&M defense, known as the Wrecking Crew, goes back to about 1987. But last year, R.C. Slocum threatened to take away that Wrecking Crew name.
And that was after 2 wins. Lackluster victories. He thought they didn't play very well. And he said, listen, if you're going to carry the Wrecking Crew name, you have to earn it around here. And I'll be the first to take it from you unless you pick up the pace. They did finish 10th in the country nationally in defense. When RC talks, everyone listens.
Well, right now they've got a 2nd and 10 on Nebraska. Lord keeps it. Goes to the near side. That's the Wrecking Crew defense. Ball's loose! Byron Jones! Touchdown A&M! Jones, the sophomore from Bay City, Texas, was the bowl MVP last year with 3 interceptions. Picks up the loose ball, and Turner Gill can only talk to Jamal Lord.
Turner Gill, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to play at Nebraska. One of the best option passing guys ever in the NCAA. Trying to keep his young Chargers' head up right now.
Penalty on 4th down, the block punt, the fumble, all have led to Texas A&M scores. Here it is again.
And as he ran this play, when he faked it inside to the fullback, I was thinking to myself, at some point, great play by Terrence Keel. And then he gets a little fortuitous kick on the football that goes up into the arms of Byron Jones, who's really their 5th defensive back. He's not a starter ordinarily, but plays a lot of minutes, a lot of snaps, and leads the team in interceptions, gets another big play. This was a young man, Byron Jones, who had 3 interceptions in the GallowayFurniture.com Bowl in their victory over, I believe it was TCU. And 3 interceptions with the defensive MVP. He is a ball hawk. And boy, he was Johnny on the spot on that play. And once again, let's take a look at the turnover story. 2 tonight by Nebraska, both converted into touchdowns by Texas A&M.
66 yards on the return for Jones, and I think if you're a Nebraska player right now, that is so disheartening because you had a pretty impressive drive in the works.
Yeah, once again, you're back to feeling snake bit. Another excellent drive. Things are being put together. You're feeling good about yourself. Another mistake. At what point do you find a way to turn that around in your favor?
Fogg's moving in on A&M. Josh Davis from about the 6. Straight ahead running, has some room, and he is hog-tied as he crosses the 30 up to about the 32-yard line. TBS Big Play Saturday, brought to you by Discover Card. It pays to discover. And by Philips. Stay sharp on game day with a Philips digital widescreen projection TV. Along with Charles Davis, Craig Sager, Aaron Andrews, I'm Ron Thulin. Welcoming you back to College Station, Texas. It has been Nebraska making mistakes and A&M taking advantage of them. Going back to the running game, Diedrich breaks a couple of tackles, fights his way up to midfield, and he gets into A&M territory. Well, you can't say Nebraska's not rushing the football successfully. They're well over 250 yards, better than 5 yards a carry so far tonight. Picked up 18 on that play.
Have to find a way to have it pay off, though.
Exactly.
They've had the 2 touchdowns from Diedrich and Horn, but they've got to have a bigger payoff. And that's been their #1 play all night long, other than the solo riffs by Jamal Lord. They just want to run the blast play inside.
Diedrich again. Again a big hole. Cuts back. Running room. Inside the 25. Down to the 21-yard line. Diedrich this time for 29 yards.
I love the way this young man runs the football, but watch as he goes downfield. He gets a block at the point of attack. Nice block by the fullback. And then as he cuts inside, right here, go! Go! But Darren Diedrich doesn't have the same speed as David Horn, so he has to look for the cutback. So he stopped after 29 yards. You wonder if it's Horn. Does he take it all the way?
Fake in the reverse. Horn keeps it inside the 20. Down to the 10. Touchdown, Nebraska. That's the way Nebraska has done it in the past. They bang you with a big guy, then they come with a speed guy.
Beautiful changeup. Fake reverse. They've run it a couple of times tonight. And now they've got the guy with speed getting to the corner. And as he gets to the corner, I think some of the A&M guys thought he may have stepped out of bounds, but there was an official totally on the play, watched it the whole way, said that he was in bounds, and he goes in for the touchdown.
The extra point is good by Josh Brown, and David Horn, the freshman from Omaha, Nebraska, with the touchdown, and they are back within 10. 6:39 to play in the third. A&M 31-21. Well, the fog is starting to move into College Station, Texas. The lights are not on fire. But right now, Nebraska's offense, they finally caught fire to pull within 10. 31-21 is Brown set to kick it away. Well, that gives your offense a little shot in the arm, doesn't it?
You gotta love the way that they responded after the big play by A&M on defense. Came right downfield and marched in for a touchdown.
Bethel Johnson thought about it, stopped about a yard short, but did he go out of bounds? David Horn was doing a little Walenda tightrope walk.
Yes, he did. Watch as he goes down. Look at the foot there. There's one that is very questionable about whether he was in or not. Then the second one right there on the sideline. Yeah, was he in or was he not? Now let's take a look from another angle. Right there. That's awfully close.
Little Nat's eyelash.
You know, and then right there. Ew, awfully close. But as he goes into the end zone, watch the official looking back to get help from another official. Again, excellent officiating, working together as a crew.
Log dumps it off, and the flat pass is complete to Joe Weber out of San Bernardino, California. And the back official, though, if you notice, when the A&M player fell, he was almost blocked from seeing Horn's feet.
And what I also saw him do was get on the play in terms of, in other words, he's behind the play, but he trailed it the whole way, watching him run down the sideline. So in his estimation, he thought that he stayed in bounds. That's why when the lead official looked back, he had a guy who was able to give a call with confidence that he thought that he was in.
It's a good officiating crew from the Big 12. They do a great job.
Been hustling every second they've been out there tonight. This is not an easy game to officiate with 2 physical teams.
Solid teamwork. 3 wide receivers to the right now for A&M. Long throwing it out in the flat, complete to Murphy. Upended. Great open field tackle by Pat Ricketts. We've got a penalty flag thrown on the play. Boy, I tell you, as a former DB, how would you rate that open field tackle by Ricketts?
The outstanding open field tackle. Watch, it's going to be a swing pass to Murphy, number 5. There's your first block at the point of attack. by number 44 Porter. I think they may get him for a hold. But Ricketts, that was textbook. Watch how he comes up, doesn't leave his feet until he drives through number 5 Murphy. See that? All the way through him, takes his legs out from under him. Excellent tackle. Pat Ricketts, a former starter this year, still getting plenty of playing time for the Black Shirts.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay second down.
Yeah, they got Greg Porter, number 44, blocking on the swing pass. See that a lot with receivers, tight ends, trying to hold their block for a long time, then getting their arms out and exposed and getting a little bit of jersey. See,
working on Murphy.
Murphy, he took a pretty good lick from Pat Ricketts. Getting a little attention on the sidelines right now. And how often do we see the defense respond after a great offensive drive? Notice how momentum's kind of switching a little bit. Nebraska trying to seize it right now with a big defensive stand.
And they push it back to 2nd and 17. Long, plenty of time. Weber tries to one-hand it, can't come down with it. Now, this week's installment of Home Depot Building a Team features the homegrown talent for both teams. And there is a lot of talent in both Nebraska and, of course, down here in Texas. How about the Aggies? 80 of the 88 on the roster are from right here in the Lone Star State, and exactly half of the Huskers are from Nebraska. You can pick up some pretty good players in those two states.
Yes, you can. And for Nebraska, they also recruit nationally. They go into Texas a lot and get guys. You know, they try and get into Florida a lot. Got a lot of blockers and tacklers in Nebraska. Try and get a little speed elsewhere.
3rd down and 17. Long facing a 4-man rush. Pass complete over the 25. First down, Texas A&M's Jamar Taylor. First catch of the second half, 3rd of the game for Taylor, and he picks up 20 on the play.
Let's give some credit to the front wall of Texas A&M. Number 75, Jamie Hightower. 72, Billy Yates. 66, Jeff Hangartner. 51, Taylor Whitley, and 65, Andre Brooks. They gave Dustin Long plenty of time to set up and go to a 3rd receiver, you know, a 2nd or a 3rd receiver, and fire a strike on a long 3rd and 17?
That's right.
That's big.
How about the numbers in the second half here for Long? 6 of 9 for just a shade under 100 yards.
Get a little more yards per throw now. A few more.
Long's pass on the quick look-in is complete this time to Bethel Johnson, covered by Fabian Washington. Now, he had a little velocity on that ball.
Yeah, that was the difference between the last one that he threw to Bethel Johnson. Watch, it's a slant here. And as he goes on the slant, Fabian Washington makes an excellent play coming up and through the receiver, but what he didn't do was try and pull his arms apart. He just went up through him and made the tackle. Bethel Johnson is a physical receiver. He's not going to respond too much to you just making a tackle. You need to try and get an arm out in order to try and knock the ball free. Something Frank Solich has been talking about, causing turnovers.
Straight ahead running. Farmer breaks a couple of tackles, crosses the 50, gets into Nebraska territory as we send it to the big game house in EJ.
Well, thank you very much, Ron. It sure looked like Alabama would take a 14-0 lead into the locker room at halftime at Tennessee until the Vols' Mark Jones took the kickoff. And he was gone 87 yards to get Tennessee on the board. 14-7 game as they play early in the 3rd period at Neyland Stadium. Charles knows a thing or two about that place.
Hey, Ernie, he's singing Rocky Top over here.
Nice replay, Ernie. Thank you.
It's called throwing a bone to you, boy.
Yeah, after he killed me after the Georgia
That's
game.
right. Adams makes the stop on Farmer. By the way, Bethel Johnson, that was his 2nd reception of the evening. That makes him number 3 on the all-time leaders in catches for Texas A&M, courtesy of that man, Dustin Long. You know, as we mentioned, his father is a football coach here in Texas, and he always talked to his son about avoiding peaks and valleys. And if you're a quarterback, you better be able to handle that.
Yeah, because it's what we've talked about as being a defensive back. You get beat on a play, you have to come back and make the next play. You throw an interception or you have a fumble, you have to come back and make a positive play. Dustin Long is very good at staying on an even keel.
Good at reading the pocket, too. Tries to get the ball off, but he's just going to wisely dance out of bounds. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage.
See Dustin being tutored there on the sidelines. Go back into the huddle, get the next play called. One thing I found interesting, you know, when A&M was going through the first 3 games of the season, not scoring very many points. You know, everyone's a critic.
Oh, yeah.
Taylor Whitley said he went to church after the Virginia Tech game, and his own preacher was making jokes about their offense. Was saying they weren't making any plays. He said, you know, even going to church, you know, Taylor Whitley said, I got to go to church, get a little salvation. I got my preacher jumping on me, too.
They take it seriously down here. Long looking out on the flat. Pass is short, and it's going to be incomplete. Fabian Washington was on the coverage. Pass intended for Jamar Taylor. That'll set up a 4th down. Texas A&M is going to have to kick it away. Just a reminder, next Saturday, 7 o'clock Eastern on TBS, the UCLA Bruins take on the Washington Huskies, followed by, of course, executive decision. Coming your way next Saturday as we head back out to the Pac-10. Low kick. From the 12-yard line, Gross takes a big hit. Crosses the 15, gets up to about the 17-yard line, and they're going to help him up. Randall Webb's the one who lowered the boom on him. Now, the last time Nebraska had the ball, the last 2 times Nebraska has had the ball, we should say, they've actually moved it on the ground. Let's see if they can be as successful as they were the last time.
Well, the defense definitely fed off of the momentum that the offense gave them. The field position isn't ideal, but at the same time, they gave up no points and have the ball back and are ready to roll.
Now the crowd sensing that their defense needs a little help. Lord stumbles his way up to about the 24-yard line. Pick up of about 4.5 on the play. Still plenty of time left, though, inside of 3.5 to play here in the 3rd. Tell you what's impressive, too, is Jamal Lord shook off the fumble, which led to the touchdown by Byron Jones. He looked very depressed on the sideline, came back and led that touchdown drive last time they had the football.
That's part of the making of a quarterback, being able to handle the bad plays and go back out and immediately make positive plays.
Diedrich. This time they trip him up, but not before he gets to about the 28-yard line. Linus Smith on the stop. Well, Lord has made some plays tonight, and they've been some good ones.
This was early in the ball game as he shook Marcus Jasmine, number 91, and took off on a huge run later on. Now, that was the pitch to Darren Diedrich. I don't lay that one on Jamal Ward. I think Diedrich needed to make that one. But that one, the ball knocked free by Terrence Keel, returned for a touchdown by Byron Jones.
On 3rd down and 2, they pitch it back. Diedrich looking for some type of opening. They're pushing and shoving. Dan Billy Waldrop trying to help him from that right tackle spot.
It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Looking at the spot, I'm not sure.
Well, I'll tell you where they're standing right now. It looks like it's going to be just a shade short. They had to get up to the pure 29-yard line.
Then they have to measure this one.
From the far side of the field.
Okay, what are you thinking? I'm thinking with the naked eye, he's a little bit short.
I think he's about football and a half short.
Yep.
The officials will just wait, bring the chains from the far side of the field. And they are. Now, if you're Frank Solich, what do you do?
I think you got to kick the ball because there's plenty of time left in the 3rd. I mean, there's 2:23 in the 3rd quarter. Get a whole 4th quarter to play. Your defense has come out and played well the last couple of possessions. I'm not sure you take the chance here because if you give the ball up, you're almost giving up 3 points automatically.
They're going for it, though.
No, that's why I'm not Frank Solich. So as I was saying, right here you go for it because you take the big gun.
That's a good segue. I'm going to call you Sammy Davis, man. You're tap dancing over there
I'm just going to tell you straight up, I don't go for it here. I punt the ball away. All right? I'm not Frank Solich, but I punt it away, and I let my defense, which has played well in the 2nd half, continue to try and do so.
Well, on 4th down, they're 1 of 1 tonight.
Their best play all night long has been the blast inside. This is going to be tough. It's tough to run it in this situation, though.
4th and inches. They should have it. Judd Davies, the big fullback out of Omaha, Nebraska. He bowled his way. All he needed was about 6 inches.
And if he got it by about 6 inches, I think.
Yeah.
Frank Solich is not happy with the spot.
The spot.
So that tells you right off the top that this is going to be close.
Well, his first initial surge looked like he almost got up to the 30-yard line. Then he was pushed back, and that's where they spotted it.
And you see how upset Frank Solich is about the spot, because this is a call where you earn your money as a football coach, isn't it?
That's exactly
Because if you
right.
don't get it here, you've opened yourself up to all the Sunday morning critics.
Which he already has.
And, you know, and I don't think he's as concerned about that as he is about trying to win a game, but
he's got it.
Boy, is he. Congratulations, Coach. You know a heck of a lot more than I do. You always have, but I still stand on this one. I would not have gone here, but they don't pay me for that one, do they? Judd Davies able to push his way forward and just barely get across.
Bottom line, they got it. Drive is alive as we head into 2 minutes remaining in quarter number 3. They stay on the ground. Horn this time tackle from behind.
First time in.
Jasmine.
Yeah, sorry about that. That's the first time A&M's defense that play well in a long time.
Well, A&M's defense definitely has the speed to cover the outside. Mike Hankwitz and company, they were concerned about covering the inside on this option attack.
And with Ty Warren missing this ball game, number 94, their potential All-America defensive tackle / end, that's hurt them even more on the interior.
Davies and Horn from the eye. Nebraska showing they're bringing a bunch. Lord sees the pressure. Pass is complete. Ross Pilkington gets his way up to about the 49-yard line, close to midfield. The true freshman out of Fort Collins, Colorado. 22 on the reception.
Watch Pilkington coming inside here, just going to catch a short pass, and then he's going to make a move. Sammy Davis, number 22, not able to keep his footing. And then Jared Morris, number 45, also unable to bring Pilkington down before Byron Jones is the man to put him down.
Now the fog is really starting to roll in. They're running the option. Ward takes the pitch, keeps it. Spins, and he gives up his body to a bunch of maroon jerseys. Jesse Honeycutt leading the charge. Able to get down to about the 49-yard line. Pickup of 2 on the play. Yeah, you can see the fog coming in, and of course, Halloween coming up straight ahead.
That's nice.
He has a lot of. He shouldn't eat any more candy. Look at him. All the teepees are gone.
You're gonna put him. Take the sugar out of his diet,
right.
huh?
Second down and 8. Diedrich spinning as he makes his way down to the 45-yard line. Jasmine again. He's been on a lot of stops tonight. The big sophomore out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And that's going to do it for quarter number 3. Well, a Nebraska mistake led to another Texas A&M touchdown, but Nebraska answered. And as they head to the final 15 minutes, they trail by just 10. Let's take a look at our Gateway game summary, and you can see that A&M took a 14-7 lead after the first quarter. They traded touchdowns in quarter number 2, then Texas A&M with 10 in the third. That's where we are right now. And look at the rushing yards for Nebraska. 268 rushing yards, 353 total for the game, well over what A&M has allowed this year on an average of 285. So right now, Nebraska doing everything they need to do offensively. Just have to stop the mistakes.
And isn't this the same A&M defense that limited Virginia Tech's untouchables?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lee Suggs and Kevin Jones to less than 100 yards each.
Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator, he's been coaching against Nebraska a long time.
2-down territory really for Nebraska, not necessarily a passing down. They went for it on 4th and short before. They'll do it here.
Now David Horn leans forward. He is going to be short, it looks like, of the first down, depending on the spot. But it'll set up a 4th down and short situation. And as you said, 2-down territory. Why not?
If he went for it on 4th and short, deep in his own territory, you know he's going to do it on the plus side against Texas A&M. That's why it wasn't necessarily a passing down on 3rd and 4. He was going for 2 downs to get a first down, and here comes another 4th and short. Now they're going the triple, the stack I again. They've run option most of the night out of this.
Straight ahead running, Diedrich. He has the first down and some to spare. Appel on the stop in the free safety spot, and they are 3 for 3 on 4th down tonight.
Jackson Appel, number 19, the free safety from Texas A&M. He will have more ice bags applied to his body tonight. He's had to make a lot of big hits from the middle of the field, taking on backs, barreling through the line of scrimmage. The nature of being a free safety against an option attack.
Stacking it again. 7 seconds to snap, plenty of time. Lord on the option. Penalty flag thrown. Lord looking for something, not going to find anything. Ushered out of bounds at the 40-yard line, but we've got some motion as Sammy Davis came up from that quarterback spot to help Lord find the sideline.
See all those heads looking back up, trying to find Jamal Lord. Legal shift. Legal shift on him. See, look back there. See, you notice how they were talking to each other? Yeah. This back never got set, David Horn.
And Davies just took off.
But he was okay because he could move parallel. You know, he's moving parallel in that formation. That's fine. I think the back second when he got him.
On the offense, the players never reset. That penalty is refused. It's 2nd down.
So you can have more than one guy in motion or moving as long as you reset. But once you don't reset for a second, that's what gets you.
Loss of 3 on the play. Frank Solich calls the plays, also the offensive coordinator. He just did exactly what Tom Osborne did when he was head coach.
2nd down has been the down that's been hurting Nebraska. They've been averaging over 7 yards on 1st down, but on 3rd down, they've needed almost 5 yards. That tells you at 2nd down, they haven't been gaining anything. They've been going backwards.
Lord looks right, looks left. Now he's going to be forced to run it. No, he's going to let it fly. Has a man wide open. Down at the 10-yard line, Ross Pilkington again. The 21-year-old true freshman who took 2 years away from football before he came to Nebraska.
Another baseball player went and played in the Colorado Rockies organization, I believe. A 31-yard gain. And all night long, I've talked about how A&M has an extra dimension because Dustin Long throws the ball well in these situations. I need to tip my hat to Jamal Lord on 2nd and long, having patience to find an open receiver.
They'll be able to get a first down because it's just outside the 10. They give it to Horn. Touchdown, Huskers! Now the last 2 Nebraska offensive possessions, they did not shoot themselves in the foot. They kept it on the ground effectively, and Horn caps it, and we've got ourselves a football game.
A few big plays on this drive, too. Solich's decision to go for it on 4th and short deep in their own territory, showing that courage. Then the 2-down territory play, and then the 2nd and 17 where Jamal Lord found Pilkington. And that set up the option to fake inside to Krewald. And then optioning Jesse Honeycutt, number 27. David Horn takes it in. Nebraska's only down 3 in the 4th quarter.
David Horn had 2 touchdowns in his career coming into tonight's game. He's got 2 touchdowns tonight. 4 for his career, and he's pulled Nebraska within a field goal. 31-28. High kind of pooch kick being fair caught at about the 22-yard line. Stacey Jones doing the right thing. Now let's take a look at this week's Jack Daniels original hard cola flashback. Nebraska 3 national titles in the 90s. How about 94? Tommy Frazier. He wasn't too bad. They went 13-0. How about 95? Tommy Frazier again, Charles.
Yeah, how about one of the all-time great runs and on the stage of a national championship? And how about this one? Scott Frost leading them to another national championship. You guys had to sneak that one in there with the Tennessee game, didn't you?
One more dig. One more dig. Well, the A&M offense now long. He's going to have to scramble, and he is going to be dropped. Demario Williams coming out from that weak side linebacker spot and drops long. That's only the 15th sack allowed by this A&M offensive line.
Shows you about speed on the perimeter. This time a linebacker tracking down a quarterback. Let's reverse that and say it's Jamal Lord being chased by Demario Williams. you'd say Jamal Lord has a better chance of getting outside and getting to the corner because that's his strength. Excellent play by DeMario Williams.
Loss of 14, and the momentum has definitely swung. This A&M offense, the last 4 games, averaging almost 480 yards. Tonight, only 253. 4-man rush. Long, looking, throwing, incomplete. Another nice defensive play. Here's Craig Sager.
The momentum has swung. I'm standing with Chris Kelsey. The rack of granite on Nebraska's defense not playing for the 4th week with a hamstring injury. What happened here to get the momentum switched?
Tell you what, our guys have a lot of heart. We came out, we knew going into halftime that we're playing well enough to win this game. We've just had a lot of bad things happen on different sides of the ball, and we've been put in some bad situations. All sides of the ball are clicking right now, and you know, we're taking everything that's been thrown at us, and we're moving the ball up and downfield on offense, and we're stopping them on defense. So that's all we can ask for right now.
A big play right here. Flip around for a second.
Kelsey's going to be playing on Sundays, my friends. Remember that name. Long, looking, throwing, passes complete. Up to the 20-yard line, short of the first down. A great quarter. Craig, continue.
We've had 3 losses this year. It was so unusual for Nebraska. How frustrating has it been to be a player with this team this year?
It's been frustrating, you know. We got a lot of tradition and a lot of guys that, you know, are a little disappointed in the way we've been playing. We haven't been playing black shirt defense, and offense hasn't been playing as well at times. And it's disappointing, but at the same time, we can't hang our heads. Got to take the good with the good and the bad with the good, and we're just trying to take a step forward here tonight.
And you're going to get good field position and with the momentum.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot. Back to Ron.
All right, well, Cody Skates got that off the side of his foot, and Nebraska, that already has the momentum on their side, will have excellent field position, only 14 yards on the kick.
Chris Kelsey's talked about the tradition of the black shirts. Really came up to the front there.
Timeout on the field, 11:47 to play. 31-28, 11:47 to play. And the Texas A&M defense needs to make a play because their offense has struggled. And we asked at the top of the show, has their offense been that good the last 4 games, or has the competition not been up to Big 12 competition?
But based on what we've seen tonight, you'd have to say the competition hasn't been up to par. The black shirts of Nebraska giving them a much tougher read on the offensive end.
Lord keeps it, cuts inside the 30, spins to the 23-yard line. Sammy Davis knocking him out of bounds. It is amazing when this option offense gets confidence, Charles.
And right now, the offensive line is firing off. And right there, Jamal Lord optioned off of Gerard Penwright, number 43. And Penwright didn't know which way to go. Do I take the quarterback? Do I go out to the pitch? He froze him in his tracks and went downfield for a first down.
Probably been a while since Nebraska fans have seen that swagger. Look out for the reverse. They fake it. Horn keeps it. Gets a block inside the 20, 15, down to the 12-yard line. I guess it's his option whether or not he hands it off, and he has seen something the last couple of times, and both times it's been successful.
Well, Nebraska in the past couple of games has run the option with Mark LaFleur, number 27. So A&M has seen that on film. And so what Nebraska's done tonight is faked it each time and frozen them and used Horn to get outside.
Well, 80% of you think the atmosphere here at A&M ranks among the best in our instant poll. You're not going to get a disagreement from us. Fumble, ball is loose, still loose. Diedrich coughed it up. A lot of pushing and shoving. Archie McDaniel, the true freshman from Bay City, Texas, is the one who put the hit on him.
Nebraska's going to keep it.
I think so, too. They're not giving up the pigskin until somebody with a striped shirt does it. I think Garrison may have come up with it. That sets up a third down situation. Third down and about 1.
And that might be the break that Nebraska's needed all season. A ball bounces their way. You know, all year long they fumbled it. It's gone the opposite way. This time they get to keep it and continue to keep a drive alive.
I'm getting a sneaking suspicion they're going to actually measure for this. We got a little Soldier Field thing happening here. It's getting kind of tough to see down there.
Starting to creep in. Just a little short.
Well, we've seen so far tonight, Nebraska has gone for 4th down 3 different occasions. They've been successful on all the attempts. You can see the lights, how the fog has moved in on top of this field.
And again, 2 down territory on 3rd and short. get the sense they're not thinking field goal here at all.
Ed Davies right in front of David Horn. Good surge by that Texas A&M defensive line.
Lord, the ball carrier.
Looks like he got it.
55, Randall Webb making the stop. First down, Nebraska.
Now let's take a look at tonight's All-State good hands play.
And our All-State camera from the goalpost get an excellent view. See Diedrich going inside, people pawing at it, ball knocked free. A&M getting to it, Diedrich fighting for it. And then the real battle begins. Looked like number 52, John Garrison, came up with it for Nebraska.
First down and 10 from the 11. Horn again. Looks for the 5, gets to the 6. Archie McDaniel was holding on to him.
So John Garrison had the good hands on that play.
He had the good hands.
And you don't say that often about an offensive lineman.
That's right. Horn 3 touchdowns tonight. Rushing the football, he has also been successful. 2 backs over 100 yards running tonight. Jamal Lord and David Horn snapping that streak of 20 regular season games that this A&M defense didn't allow anybody to run for 100 yards against them.
And Nebraska's offense has really worn down the wrecking crew. You can see the effects of their drives.
Lord pitches, nice pickup by Horn. Touchdown, Nebraska takes the lead. Charles, when we were watching tape of this A&M defense, we noticed that they did seem to kind of go down 2 or 3 notches in the 4th. Fatigue setting in, maybe.
Well, you have a lot of guys who play special teams, too. Penwright takes the quarterback, and on the corner, Wilson Thomas, number 9, the wide receiver. Great block on the corner. That sealed it and allowed David Horn to dive in.
Now Nebraska took a 7-0 lead early. It's been all A&M since, but now Nebraska has taken the lead at 35-31. 4th touchdown tonight for David Horn, and Nebraska has the advantage. Plenty of time left, but the freshman David Horn, another touchdown, and Nebraska has the lead with 11:01 to play. This can be a complete season turner for the Huskers. A short kick. Terrence Thomas. Yep. May have put the knee down.
I think they called fair catch.
I think they did call fair catch.
And then they ran after the play.
Archie McDaniel was right in the middle of that. We do have a penalty flag down.
And the mistake that was made was the return guy who called the fair catch backed up to catch the football. That's a cardinal rule. Don't back up.
And why is that?
Because you want the guy coming forward to make the catch. When you have people behind you, it's a lot easier to catch. Same one up. See right there, see the fair catch being signaled? All right, but now watch him as he backs up to catch the football. That's Carragher, number 90. Is that Carragher, 98?
Yep.
The tight end?
And McDaniel came down with it.
After the play, delay of game on the receiving team. The player signaled for a fair catch.
Yep.
And then advanced the ball.
See, Carragher,
5 yards from the end of the kick.
Carragher signals for the fair catch, number 98. Then he makes the mistake of backing up to catch the football when you have people behind you coming in. It's very similar to baseball. I've got it, you take it. You got to make the call and be definite about it, and always want the guy coming forward making the catch.
I think RC's saying, why wasn't that considered a fumble since he hit off his shoulder pad?
Yeah, he's got a point because the ball was never controlled.
Never controlled. Long, look out from behind, has to duck the head, and he avoids the big-time hit, but he is dropped. And we'd like to remind you, Big Play Saturday will keep on rolling after the game and with the Movie Bowl. Mel Gibson, Danny Glover in the movie that started it all, Lethal Weapon. And then after the Movie Bowl, stay tuned for an encore presentation of Nebraska at Texas A&M only on TBS Superstation. I tell you, the wheels seem to have come off this A&M offense.
Yeah, old momentum. Old Mo is wearing a white shirt or a black shirt, whatever you want to call it for Nebraska right now, because on that play, backside, Dustin Long never had an opportunity. The blitzer showed, no one slipped out to pick him up. And now it appears they're going to have to use a timeout. They are a team that is a little bit unsettled right now.
How much has
Texas A&M's offense?
How much has it to do with Dustin Long, although he's had a great, he set the record, 7 touchdown passes against Tech, 399 thrown against Kansas. This is his first and fastest defense and best defense he's faced since he took over.
Excellent point, because Nebraska's big and fast. This is not Baylor. This is not Kansas. No disrespect to those schools, but they don't have the same ability to cover the field that Nebraska does with their defensive backs. A Fabian Washington and a DeJuan Gross at the corner are infinitely better than what they've seen.
35-31, R.C. Slocum's squad. This is a tough 5-game stretch they've got ahead of them. How about Oklahoma State? Les Miles got his team playing so well. Big win last week. Then they got to play Oklahoma, Missouri, and then they finish up, of course, at Texas in Austin. Here's not an easy one on the schedule.
No, not at all. And R.C. told us that yesterday. You know, as he said, this is the Big 12.
Yeah.
But they were feeling pretty confident about their ability to stay in the race. They knew they needed this one tonight to get that started done.
Here comes Nebraska on the blitz again. Long throws it up for grabs, and it is incomplete. Fans want a penalty flag thrown. Not going to get it. Long just threw that one up for grabs. Barrett Ruud put the pressure on Long, coming in from that middle linebacker spot.
Zone blitz on this play. That means a defensive lineman has to drop. Right there, 92. Justin Smith dropped on the coverage. See? He's covering on this play. And this is what the fans were yelling about. Justin Smith never got his head back around to look for the football, appeared to tackle the receiver before the ball got there.
Now a third down and long. 14. This time Nebraska brings 4. Pressure again. Long over the middle. Intercepted by Nebraska. Pat Ricketts steps out of bounds. And we've got a penalty flag thrown. Nope, they picked it up. Ricketts at the 42-yard line steps out, but another interception, the 9th of the year for this Husker defense.
What did we say about good plays feeding into more good plays? That's what's happened for the Nebraska defense. They've made good plays. The offense has fueled their fire also. And now Ricketts, so fast and so strong, he steps out of his shoe on this play after the interception. Picks up a nice block. Good return. Nebraska once again in business on Texas A&M side of the field against a tired Wrecking Crew defense.
Ward splits the seam, crosses the 40. Gets down to about the 38-yard line. Jared Morris on the stop. Here's Aaron Andrews.
Interesting story about Nebraska head coach Frank Solich. He's actually a product of 2 generations of coal miners. This year, of course, he was struck hard by the stories of the coal miners in Pennsylvania trapped underground. He actually asked for a videotape of 48 hours coverage of the ordeal because he wanted to show the team how the group of men stayed together and cared for one another. Definitely that message coming across on the field tonight.
That's what it takes when you're down. Horn dances inside the 35 down to the 33-yard line. Clock running, closing in on 9 minutes to play in the ball game.
So between the team psychologist and Frank Solich, a lot of positive messages being sent Nebraska's way. And as Aaron pointed out, they're paying off big for them tonight.
You know, we talked to Solich, Frank Solich yesterday, and you know, they just came in from a walkthrough. It was raining, and he was extremely positive. Never has said a negative word during this tough stretch. How about that for rushing 188 yards in the second half? People don't do that to A&M. Lord keeps it, dives forward, should get the first down. Morris on the stop again, submarines him. Well, our question tonight is from Joe from Houston, Texas. Is Nebraska running back David Horn the real deal? Well, I tell you what, Joe, here's what I'm going to do. I want you to listen real closely, my friend. He's got 119 yards. He scored 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, on 21 carries. Just keep watching the screen. I think you will agree. No doubt about it. He is the real deal.
1st and 10 for the Huskers. Ward, straight drop. Has running room. Penalty flags are thrown. It'll be against Nebraska as he tripped up at the 22-yard line. Terrence Keel coming up from the strong safety spot. And that'll be the 6th penalty against Nebraska tonight. Most of those, however, coming in the first 30 minutes.
I like the play call by Frank Solich, though, because the running game's working so well. He took a chance of hitting him deep, trying to hit Matt Harrion, number 42, the tight end. I believe he's right here, and he's going to go down the middle of the field, but I think he ran himself into coverage instead of faking himself free. Shake himself, he was right there, excuse me. But watch how he goes downfield. See how he stays too close to the defender? He's got to run himself down more to the middle of the field to give himself a better target for Lord to throw to. So I remember watching the play and seeing him run, and he ran towards the defender, running his route. He's a true freshman. He'll learn. Shake yourself free a little bit, give your quarterback a target. Maybe he's able to complete the pass.
Yeah, they push it back 10 yards, first down and 20. Ball just over the 40-yard line of A&M. They go back to the bread and butter. Horn stopping, shaking. Breaks a couple of tackles inside the 35, down to about the 33-yard line. Hey, this young man has been impressive tonight. This is the 4 touchdowns he's had.
There's his first early in the game. The fake reverse and the tightrope act. Has a little Walenda in him here, doesn't he?
And how about this?
With a great block on the corner. Getting that one from the fullback. And then on the other one, Wilson Thomas, the wide receiver. Another excellent block on the corner. A 4-touchdown night. And as far as he's concerned, he's not finished yet.
That's the most rushing touchdowns by an opponent's single player against A&M since '68. Mike Richardson of the Mustangs of SMU did it. He had 4 touchdowns, but only 3 were rushed.
And you know what Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator from Texas A&M, is going to see when he watches this film? A lot of missed tackles. I think a number of them are due to fatigue. It's a very tired defense on the field now for Texas A&M.
Lord from the shotgun. Play clock got down to 4, and he had to burn the timeout.
A lot of time before that play. It drives coaches crazy, doesn't it?
Timeout, 7:24 to play. The Huskers have the football and the advantage. Nebraska has taken the lead, 35-31 under the foggy lights here at Texas A&M, and they lead the Aggies by 4. Still a lot of time left, 7:24, and Nebraska facing 2nd down and 11 from the 32. Well, the Nebraska faithful, I tell you, a lot of them have kept the faith.
Yes, they have. They made the big journey here. And you know, you talk about the fog here. Think about this. Kevin Sumlin, the offensive coordinator for Texas A&M, he's up top. He's not getting as good a look maybe as the guys down on the field.
He's a level or 2 above us. Lord keeps it, sprints over the 30 to the 25 to the 20-yard line. And a penalty flag is thrown right at the 25. Now's not the time to start doing the things you did in the first half, making mistakes, Nebraska.
You worry about an illegal block or a clip or a hold on the corner again. See Lord getting up into the gap there and then getting outside. There it is, Clem. See him hold. See the shoulder pad come up on Sean Weston, number 31. He got some jersey, popped the pad up, made it very easy for the officials to see, despite the fog that he was holding.
On the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay, 2nd down.
Well, he really sentenced him, didn't he? 10 years instead of 10 yards. I mean, I know.
That's a little tough there, isn't it?
I mean, you know, he just held, sir. I mean, that's a tough penalty right there.
He didn't hold up. He just held. Goodness. They're tough down here in Texas.
Boy, they are tough on crime here.
You come down here, you're going to pay for it.
Guy getting on the field late for Texas A&M.
2nd and 12. Lord's going to keep it. Looking for some blocks. Breaks out of the pack. Gets a block. Crosses the 25 down to the 23-yard line. Keel with a saving tackle. As Nebraska closing in on 500 yards offense against this wrecking crew defense.
And Ron, they are tired. I mean, look at them, hands on Hipsey, Penwright, 43, 17 Gamble. They've played a lot of plays this entire season and a lot of plays tonight because Nebraska's running game has been so effective. They're missing a bunch of tackles down the stretch.
And that is
Look
huge.
at that, time of possession. That tells you how long the wrecking crew's been on the field.
Third down and about 3. Horn slips and falls, had a space, and it'll be 4th down. Oh, come on, Frank. You got to go for it again. This telecast is a copyrighted presentation of Texas A&M, a member of the Big 12 Conference. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Texas A&M or the Big 12 Conference. Now they're going to kick the field goal. Try to get that 7-point lead. They'll spot it at the 32-yard line, a 42-yarder by Brown. And it hooks around and it goes. Josh Brown, the 42-yard field goal, and the lead goes up to a touchdown inside of 6 minutes to play in a ball game. The senior kicker out of Foyle, Oklahoma, a small school, has really done the job for Nebraska in his 4 years. So if you're Texas A&M right now, your offense has been stopped. Only 263 yards for the ball game. What do they got to do? They got to make it simple again?
I think so, and I think that because they have not been able to run the football well tonight, right now their leading rusher is Bethel Johnson. One reverse, 17 yards. Yeah, Derek Farmer, their #1 ball carrier, only has 16 yards on 9 carries. Now is not the time to butt your head up against a brick wall. You haven't run it well all night. So if you're going to throw the football, here's what I'm thinking. Max protection, make sure you have everyone covered up on the forward wall, and throw 1 and 2 receiver routes using your big physical wide receivers to try and get open. Just make sure you protect the quarterback. They haven't been able to do that much in the second half. Nebraska's gotten a lot of heat on Dustin Long. I'd find a way to protect him and use my big, strong guys.
That's right.
Right, to try and make plays for me.
Now that A&M offense only 117 yards here in the second half. And the kick, another short one, taken at about the 20-yard line. Johnson takes a couple of hits as he crosses the 30 up to the 32-yard line. Well, let's take a look at tonight's All-State Good Hands play.
Jamal Lord trying to get free, and the ball's pulled out of his hands by Terrence Keel, their starting strong safety. Byron Jones shows the good hands, catching it on the rebound and taking it all the way for 6.
66 yards. That gave them the lead, and now they trail by 7, 38-31. A&M has 5:49 to work with. From the shotgun, long to Murphy. The Nebraska defense quickly covering him up. Scott Shanley from that strong side linebacker spot, the senior out of St. Edward, Nebraska. He has been on one of the most unusual All-America teams, the successful Farming All-America team a couple of years ago. Former walk-on Scott. He's a player, though.
Yes, he is. Came into the game as their leading tackler, one of the leaders of the black shirt defense. And don't be surprised if Craig Bohl, Nebraska's defense coordinator, starts to move people in and rush the passer if A&M continues to spread the field.
Long this time. Bethel Johnson tries to dig it out of the turf. And he does right at the 45-yard line, and it's a first down with 5:05 to play. Well, let's see what kind of composure Dustin Long has now just for a sophomore. He's got the veteran receivers that are very, very good in Johnson, Murphy, and Jamar Taylor.
His last 2 passes showed that he appears to be very composed right now. Been able to go back in rhythm, set up and throw the football. Hasn't gotten happy feet from getting hit so much in the second half. And his offensive front wall has protected him well the last 2 times he's thrown the ball.
Nebraska brings 5. Long pass over the middle, complete to Porter. Running room inside the 30 down to the 20-yard line.
Watch here, the block. Excellent block by the running back. Everyone wants to carry the football and gain 100 yards and have the dreams, have the glory. But also the dirty work is what keeps you on the field. Opens up a beautiful passing lane because Nebraska blitzed. Finds Porter, first down, Texas A&M.
35 yards on the completion, and now A&M starting to kick it into high gear. Long, plenty of time, dumps it off to his running back. Fleming is quickly covered up as he gets inside the 20 down to about the 17-yard line. Now, of course, everybody in the stadium is thinking if they score, they're going to go for 2, or will they go for the tie?
But they are the home team. You tie it up and go into overtime.
Craig Bohl, the defensive coordinator for Nebraska.
They still have to score right now.
That's
before
right.
we even get to that point.
First
things first. They have to get into the end zone. But you have to like the composure of A&M's offense thus far in this drive. And I love the last pass by Long as the check down pass went to his third option.
2nd and 8. Keep it on the ground to Fleming. Stood up by Shanley. Got the first hand on him. Also, LaKeven Smith, the redshirt freshman out of Macon, Georgia, at the defensive tackle spot. One of the young players that Frank Solich is very high on.
Good defense by Nebraska, because I thought that play had the ability to break bigger. It sure looked like one of those. It looked like a pass, able to hand it inside on the draw. And Nebraska didn't rush past him on their way to the quarterback, able to find the back before they got there.
3rd down and 6. Nebraska shuffling players. You can see what Long's done on 3rd down, 7 of 11. Will that be lucky? Time. Has to run. Takes a hit. Gets the first down. What a great play by Dustin Long.
This will bring the 12th man back into it. Little trouble bobbling the snap. Looks for the pass, doesn't have it, pulls it down. Now watch how he protects the football as he dives for the first down. It's a good job by Dustin Long. He knows that a fumble here puts his team in a horrible spot. Protects the football, gives him a chance to get other downs. 1st and 10.
1st and goal inside the 10. 3-step drop, Long. Throwing it into the end zone. Intercepted. Nebraska's Phillip Land. Land's first interception of the year, and it's a costly one for the Aggies.
And you have to say, here's the first time we've seen Dustin Long's famed cool not come into play, because it's a ball that should not be thrown. Off the back foot, off the wrong foot. Not sure who he sees breaking open here. The only person in play is the Nebraska defensive back. So if he's trying to get rid of the football, you have to have a stronger arm in that case to throw it out of the back of the end zone. Bottom line is here, you probably have to just take the sack and start over. And he knew it almost as soon as he threw the football. One of the few times he makes that type of a mental mistake. And now the wrecking crew, the tired wrecking crew, has to force a big play here.
A&M with 2 timeouts remaining. Horn. What you have to do now is protect the football if you're Nebraska.
And when does A&M start using their timeouts?
How about right now?
Okay. Works for me.
That'll be good for me. R.C. Slocum's going to talk about it. They're down to 1 timeout remaining in the ball game. You have to tip your hat to this Nebraska team. Despite the criticism they've taken in the newspapers and going up against a great coach like R.C. Slocum and the Aggies' vaunted defense, Frank Solich had his guys ready to play in this football game.
That he did. And remember, their criticism goes national because of how much they're recognized across the country.
Just a reminder, coming up after the game, the Movie Bowl, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. And of course, after the Movie Bowl, you can stay tuned for an encore presentation of this game, Nebraska at A&M, only on TBS Superstation. One of the things that Texas A&M's defense does do well, though, and that's force turnovers. We're going to see a lot of guys going after the football right now.
Yeah, they came into the game at +11 in turnovers. Remember, they forced 1 in the first half, right? I mean, this is a team that knows how to get to the football. But I've got to say, this is also not the wrecking crew that we're used to seeing because of the amount of plays they've had to be on the field today. How many yards does Nebraska have running the football right now?
They've got
355. I mean, yeah, 68 carries. It's a a lot of plays for a defense.
And they've had the ball over 5 minutes. Texas A&M. Nebraska is just going to keep it on the ground. It'll be a first down, getting up to the 30-yard line. Now let's take a look at tonight's Wrangler 5-star play of the game. Just a couple of seconds ago, Bland stretching it out, gets the interception, and stops the Texas A&M drive. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
And that play is so important, not just in the fact that he made the catch, but what goes with it. That's why coaches tell you all the time, anytime you have an opportunity to make a play, make it. Because let's say he drops the ball, then A&M gets more cracks at the end zone, and maybe the outcome's different.
Lord keeps it on the option, jumps over a couple of players, crosses the 40-yard line, close to another first down. This is the most yards rushing by an A&M opponent in 32 years. The University of Texas was the last person to run for this kind of yards against this vaunted Aggie defense. But we go back to the top of the show, talking about the offensive varsity Slocum. They've been putting a lot of points and numbers on the board the last 4 games. Were they that good? Now they have only 322 yards tonight total, but you can see what Nebraska has done running the football.
Diedrich may not have gotten to 100, but the example he set, running the football hard inside, was huge for Nebraska.
Now Lord's just going to take a seat. A&M only with 1 timeout left. Let's go down to Craig Sager.
Well, Frank Solich, we talked about the positive reinforcement he gave the team, also their team psychiatrist. Right now, if Nebraska holds on to win this game, will be the biggest comeback in his 5-year history as the coach of Nebraska. Previously, a 13-3 comeback against Missouri in 1998.
All right, Craig. Once again, this is the 5th game they've trailed in, and they've only been able to come back and win 2 of them. This will be the 2nd. They've done it, though, with Jamal Lord making some key plays, some good pitches, nice reads, and a defense that stepped up to the challenge. Now let's take a look at tonight's U.S. Army Players of the Game, powered by America Online, as voted by the fans. Jamal Lord, 38%. You are our player of the game. And Dustin Long, you got 53% of the vote. You are our player of the game. The U.S. Army, an army of one. Not much to yell about tonight if you're an A&M fan. Looked like you had the game pretty much in hand, and then Nebraska just stood up to the challenge.
And wore you down physically. And I think mentally, too, having to play the option all night, thinking about assignments. And there's another big play by Jamal Lord.
Lord just keeps on running. The young man that's well-publicized problems with the disorderly conduct, was involved in a lot of controversy, but they've stepped up to it. And Nebraska is going to have a happy plane ride home to Lincoln.
And you see him point, see Patrick Kabongo pointing to the N on the side of the helmet. A lot of pride in the Nebraska Cornhuskers program. And they were tired of the criticism. And I believe they've sent an answer out there to all the people who have said that they're totally down.
And the A&M quest for a Big 12 South Division title, this takes a major hit. And Nebraska now, when you look at the South standings and see where A&M stands, right now you add another loss on that.
It's going to go to 2-2.
2-2.
Right there. And you've got to figure that only one loss will win the Big 12 South.
If that. And then the Nebraska schedule, you know, they have Texas on November the 2nd. They have to go to at Kansas State on the 16th, and they can make some waves. And that's going to do it. Let's go to Craig Sager on the field with David Horn, the man of the hour.
And with his coach, Frank Solich. Coach, a month ago, he was number 6 on your depth chart. You pulled his red shirt. Now it looks like he is the real deal. Talk a little bit about David Horn's 4 touchdowns.
Well, he's had a great game, and of course, has the ability to make people miss and then accelerate into holes, and that's what it takes to get the ball in the end zone. He did a great job. I also feel Darren Dietrich did a great job. I mean, when he had the ball in his hands and we were playing power football, he was marvelous. Really appreciate the effort of our whole team today.
A lot of criticism towards the Nebraska team with 3 losses in the season. Coaches remain positive. You've remained positive. What does this win here tonight do to the program and this year?
It's big for us. You know, it's a big W. You know, hopefully we go on for and continue to win. You know, this is a big thing for us. It's a big turnaround. Hopefully we continue to go out there to win.
What did you say to the team at halftime? We know before the game you tried to stay positive, but what a comeback in the second half.
We really had played pretty well, and we gave them, to a degree, 2 touchdowns there in the first half, and we had to earn everything that we got. And so second half, if we just took care of things, penalties still are a big issue for us. But other than that, they did a great job in the second half, maintaining drives and coming up defensively with some big plays when we needed it.
Well, our AOL question in the booth was, is David Horn the real thing? As a true freshman, talk a little about your decision to go to Nebraska and how you feel tonight.
I'm right with my decision, you know. The hardest season when I first come out of high school. I'm glad with it. We stuck together, we fought hard, and we came together the team at the end. We got the W.
Have a safe trip back to Nebraska. Don't forget the game will be replayed after Lethal Weapon, our movie tonight.
All right, thank you.
Back to you, Ryan.
All right, Greg. I got a funny feeling he'll already be watching tape of it when he gets on the airplane.
Yes.
Something to celebrate for the Huskers. Big Play Saturday has been presented to you by Discover Card and T-Mobile. Now, Charles, I'll tell you what, Nebraska, very impressive tonight. They win it by 7.
And what I saw in this ball game, remember the play where I said that Frank Solich should punt the football? He showed a lot of confidence in his team on 4th and short, deep in his own territory. By going for it, I think that was a message. And his team grasped onto the message, went down and scored, and they continued on to a big victory. Congratulations to the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Absolutely. Well, for the latest scores, in-depth analysis, CNNSI.com. Sports Illustrated at CNN Speed.